This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
Thrown under the bus.
No.
Always live, always real, always unpredictable.
I'm not okay with that.
It sounded good when I thought.
Log on and join our live conversation.
Yes,
I don't
you're
like
right.
that.
You're 100% right.
DBL starts right now.
Welcome to DBL. It is Monday, July 15th. I'm here with Stephanie, Tori, Brandon, and I'm Sam. Let's get started. The president is coming under fire right now for tweets targeting several minority Democratic congresswomen, telling them to, quote, go back and help fix the totally broken and crime-infested places from which they came. The president seems to be referring to these four women, Representatives Rashida Tlaib, Ilhan Omar, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, and Ayanna Pressley. All four are American citizens, and three of them were born here in America. Ilhan Omar is a Somali refugee who moved here when she was 12. In response, AOC tweeted this, saying, quote, it's important to note that the president's words telling four American congresswomen of color, go back to your own country, is hallmark language of white supremacists. Trump feels comfortable leading the GOP into outright racism, and that should concern all Americans. Now, some are saying that the coverage of the president's tweet has been taken out of context, like Jim Osman, who tweeted, he actually said, go back to your country, fix it, then come back. The left totally misses the second half of this tweet. I don't know about that. I mean, let's context or not, just read the tweet. Let's not even talk about headlines, clickbait. Go do your due diligence as a constituent, read that tweet, and then tell me how you feel. And I always try to look at both sides. I cannot defend our president on this one. Tori?
I think we're going to look back in history, Sam, and you said it to me earlier. You're like, this is a tweet of the century in some respects. This is a different tweet than all the others that he said. Now, he said racist comments before. Mexicans are rapists. Africans come from those blank beephole countries. So it's not unlike him to be racial. The Nazis are good on both sides at Charlottesville. The problem with this is I haven't heard any response, and this is the history line of what he did. He did the tweet. He went to go play golf. He came back to the White House, checked to see the reaction. There was none. So he doubled down and wrote another. That's what happens when Republicans, and I'm speaking to all constituents out here, don't speak up. It's been 12 plus hours. I haven't heard from Lindsey Graham. I have not heard from Collins, Mitt Romney. Where are you guys on blatant racism? This could be a quote written by the Grand Wizard of the KKK. Go back to your country. That's what you hear in line from a racist permit patty. The other thing I'll say is this. In 2 years, if a real estate mogul, real estate reality show hack can silence your party completely with racism and morals, you have not a very strong party.
But Tori, do you think that the Lindsey Grahams and other Republican people in the office, do you think they're going to come back and say something?
They absolutely should. This is outrageous. This is when you've crossed a line so much that you can't say. This is a snot-nosed bully saying, go back to your country. That's our president.
And when you're a person of color, you're a person who comes from another country, or your family has come here from another country.
His wife came from a different country.
Once you hear that, go back to your country, you kind of check out, and I can see why people haven't seen or whatever both sides of the context are seen as.
Their problem is there's been congressmen that have come forward, Democratic congressmen, saying, actually, I'm not from this country, but I'm a white man, so it's funny that you have not called me out. It's interesting to see the four of color women that were called out. Again, it is blatant racism, and I don't care what side of the aisle you're on. If this were a Democrat, I'd be the first person to say shame on you.
Think of what Martin Luther.
So we need to be better, please.
This is a quote from Martin Luther King, and I want us all to remember very quickly. In the end, we will remember not the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends. Guys, silence is complicit. That is trending on Twitter. It's important. If you're a constituent and one of these people, you should be writing your senators and reps saying, I want to hear you. And he should not be asked one question of the press until he addresses this blatant statement of racism.
Some things you just cannot defend.
No.
We all as Americans should agree on that.
Absolutely.
All right, let's switch gears here a little bit because we've got some viral videos that you've got to see to believe. First, check out this group of whitewater rafters who apparently miss the danger signs. They go over the falls on this Pennsylvania River, and miraculously, they are all okay. Steph, you're shaking your head.
Oh no, this looks something like out of a movie,
I
right?
know.
First of all, I'm impressed at how brave they are doing whitewater rafting because I'm quite the adventure seeker, but I've never done that. It looks a little bit frightening.
Would love it.
I do too.
I think I'd really enjoy it.
I did it and I liked it, and if I did it, you can do it better.
But would I be brave enough to go like whizzing past loads of warning signs and putting my life in danger? Probably not.
Yeah, they missed three big warning signs.
You scared me just now when you were reading that.
Why?
Because I'm looking at whitewater rafting and you're like, check out this group of white, I thought you were like white people falling into a stereotype. I'm sorry, brave or whatever. I would never get into.
Never, ever.
I would never, ever,
Really?
You wouldn't give it a go?
ever get into a whitewater raft and get whatever that is. I'm all about a jacuzzi. That's only bubbles in my water.
That's funny. Okay, check out this next video of a KFC restaurant in North Carolina. The restaurant exploded early in the morning last week. No one was inside, thank goodness. There it is. Wow. Surveillance video captured the moment it happened, sending debris through the air. And check out the aftermath video too, showing the destroyed store. KFC says they are devastated, but they are grateful all the employees are safe. Yeah. What could have caused that explosion?
So I looked into this because I'm like, what the heck? Nobody was working. It's about 10 at night. Natural gas is looking into it. So they're looking into the sewer system if something was open and left undone in the burner. Yeah, so I don't think it was anything set intentionally, but it is a mystery up to this point, but that's what they're looking into.
Goodfellas, you all have seen Goodfellas?
Oh, yeah.
When you can't borrow another dime, what do? You blow it up.
You think that's what happened?
Hey, you know, I'm a conspiracy theorist. I like that type of stuff.
Well, if it was natural gas, if you smell sulfur in the air, that's the additive that they put in the natural gas, so you know to do something about it, to leave the building, to call for help. So make sure, because otherwise it is a silent killer.
Good to
Very
know.
scary.
Extra crispy.
Okay. Let's get to this. Power went out all over New York, turning a wide section of the city into darkness on Saturday night. Power has since been restored, and officials are investigating the causes. But the show must go on, of course, for some of the musicals that were affected, like Hadestown, which took their show on the road, literally performing outside for fans. And meantime, the J-Lo concert at Madison Square Garden went dark, and the arena had to be evacuated. How terrifying. The singer said she was devastated, but it does have a happy ending. Watch.
Obviously, all the power went out in the city, and obviously here at Madison Square Garden while we were in the middle of our show. Actually, we had just started our show. Obviously, we're going to reschedule this show. There's the alarm going on, telling everybody in the announcements to evacuate.
I would be terrified.
We were just saying, she looks a bit
like
unusual.
Unusual, yeah. I thought it was a filter, but yeah, I would be also very scared because the first thing you think is
terrorists.
That's it.
Absolutely.
When the lights go out and they don't open, thank God those people stayed calm because a stampede can ensue.
Do we know what the cause of it was? I mean,
I looked into this too. Get this. 1972, 44 years ago to the day and the hour it happened before.
How weird
The major
is that?
New York blackout happened 44 years ago, literally on the same day. So my conspiracy theory, and Brandon, you tell me, is they're like resetting some machine we don't know about and has to take up a lot of electricity.
Wow.
Like once a year, once every 40.
Would it be, Tori?
Like alien?
But the people who this affected should get some sort of reimbursement, because if you look at it, let's say Bank of America, you overdraft, you get a fee. If same thing with like your luggage, you got to pay a fee. These people, Con Ed, should pay some sort of fee to those who had
inconvenience or had gigs canceled.
Just think a convenience store. You small business convenience store. Your refrigeration isn't working now.
That's a good point,
Now
Brandon.
you don't have to worry about people licking the ice cream because it's melted.
The problem is, it's all the ACs are going full blast in New York in July, and all that power, it might not be my machine.
But this is not their first summer in the city.
True.
Like, you know, it's hot in New York.
Yeah.
Right.
Gosh.
Wow.
Would you rather be in an elevator or the subway when the power goes out?
Oh, easy an elevator.
Really?
Easily.
Really?
I don't want to be in the subway where it's like it's going to be, obviously it'll be dark if you're in an elevator anyway, but there's going to be a lot of people.
You're right.
It's going to
Or
be
chaos,
crowded.
right?
You're going to be back to back with people. I don't want someone's armpit in my face.
I used to live in New
holding
York.
onto a rail.
It is like
That's what's going to happen.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
DBL is live, and still ahead, a new documentary reveals never before heard secrets about John F. Kennedy Jr., the evidence that shows his aspirations for a political future. And you, the viewer, are our fifth host. Casting controversy. Scarlett Johansson says she should be allowed to play any person. So DBL Nation, do you agree? Your comments about that coming up next.
Hi there, DBL Nation. Kelly Schubert here with the DBL Digital Team. It is Monday, and we are back here at Daily Blast Live. Happy to be here. Let us know how the weather is where you are. Jeff making noises as he walks by. I also want to know what you thought about Big Brother last night if you were watching, so write me in because we'll talk about that later. But let me know how your weekend was and how the weather's going. Let's go see what the hosts are doing up here.
And it was 42 years ago.
Hey guys, what's happening out here? How's your weekend?
To the people of Hades Town, great job going out to the street, keeping the show must go on, entertaining the people.
That's okay.
But you know what I would also like to see them do? Include some street performers as well. Like make it like the Hades Town people who went out and did the show. Like there are some people out in New York that can dance, that can sing. I would like to have. Well, I only saw that little clip of the video, so maybe they did or they didn't. But Governor Cuomo said that I don't know. To summarize it, is when New York. Like every time New York gets into some sort of situation, the best comes out.
Yeah,
and that showed it right there.
There's a video too on someone's phone when the lights all went up and everyone in the streets was like, yeah! And all the cars people were high-fiving down the cars, people were like dancing. In 1977, I said 72, I meant 77, excuse me. They had the blackout and people were like singing in the streets. It's a really famous one. And there's a fake report that there was a baby boom in 1977, 9 months after that because it was dark and people didn't have a lot to do. To put the two together. But no, it was, that's fake. So, that's all.
Let's say you were on, because it was on the west side, 42nd all the way up to, I believe, 77th. Let's say you were in the Uber on 43rd and you had to get to 77. Are you walking or are you going to sit in the car and wait?
I'm gonna thank you.
Yes. 30-something blocks.
Yeah, but sometimes the streets are less than the avenues. The avenues are the kicker. If you have to go down 2nd or 3rd or cross town, that's the hard part.
Great.
Like sometimes the streets aren't that bad. I might walk to get some steps in, but really I'd take the Uber probably still.
For what? What?
With the traffic lights.
Welcome back to DBL. It is time for Fifth Host when we talk about what you're talking about. Well, last week it was revealed a person of color will be playing Ariel in the live-action remake of The Little Mermaid. And now Scarlett Johansson is finding herself in hot water yet again over comments about casting. As a white female, Scarlett first sparked debate by playing an Asian character, and you might also recall her stepping away from the role of a trans person. Now she's receiving backlash by saying she should be able to play anyone she wants, and that, quote, political correctness is getting in the way of art. So DBL Nation, should actors be able to take on any role regardless of race, gender, sexuality, or even disabilities? Take it away, Brandon.
All right, let's get to these DBL Nation comments. Brandy from YouTube says, what if the trans person she was cast to play was supposed to be passing as a biological female? Would that make a difference? I think it's a case-by-case situation. Yeah, I think it is case-by-case, and we had someone write in on the last show that said that if it's a fictional character, it shouldn't matter at all. I just don't want to see Christian Bale play Martin Luther King.
No, that
Wouldn't go well.
No.
Carol from Facebook says, considering that all Shakespeare actors were men who also played female characters, why not? This shows how well someone can act. Well, that's true. That did happen, but that meant that women couldn't act. So it just excludes 50% of the audience. So you're kind of proving my point in that, yes, you can, ScarJo. You can play anything you want. But when so few people get to actually represent themselves, for instance, a person in a wheelchair can't always audition for every part. But if it's a wheelchair part, that's the role that they should be going out for. So I believe let's add to representation and let's try to get to the truth, because that's really the best part about it.
Terry from Facebook says, nope, especially if the role is that of a minority. She knows that Hollywood is not colorblind, and by saying this, she's a cog in the machine called racism. Oh, wow, Terry. I agree with what Tori was just saying. I believe that depending on the role and the situation, type by type is what everything needs to be assessed by. And I've got a great belief in casting directors that have been doing this for many years, and they know the right people for the role and who should play what. So all my trust is in them.
All right, and Sean from Facebook says actors could get away with playing anyone before today's generation became so politically correct. So many great actors have received awards for stretching outside of their norm. The problem is, though, Norm, is that it's just such a select few people, right? So we only get to see the select few group of people, and it has become more inclusive over time. But then you are limiting and discriminating against a large group of actors that never even get their shot. These are actors that are exceptionally talented. So I want to see the pool opened up, and I think representation not only matters, but there's a lot of untapped talent out there that we all deserve to see.
I think so.
Absolutely. Let's get to this last one really quick. Diamond from Facebook says, I cringe when I see old movies like Cleopatra with Elizabeth Taylor or old westerns with Native Americans, rather Indians played by white actors covered in bronzer.
Yes.
All wearing the same thing. It's the same with Gods of Egypt. You know, I love Gerard Butler as an actor, but he's not Egyptian to me. He doesn't embody what an Egyptian person
And
looks
there's some
like.
great Egyptian actors out there. Give them a shot.
Anytime you darken your skin is a real no-no. It's just the historical context is,
Just read the room.
But thank you for writing in. We love hearing what you all have to say. There is a new movie about Elvis Presley
I'm playing
in the
Elvis.
works.
I'm playing Elvis.
We'll see about that. Let's see what Raquel has to say about who possibly is being casted.
Brandon, it could be you. A former Disney star is ready to put on his blue suede shoes and star in Baz Luhrmann's new biopic. Now, Austin Butler just landed the role of Elvis in the film. The 27-year-old actor beat out other celebrities like Harry Styles and Miles Teller for the part. And Tom Hanks is also joining the cast. He'll play the King's manager, Colonel Tom Parker. Now, the movie will follow their relationship during Elvis's rise to stardom. So, DBL Nation, who would you cast as Elvis?
Wow, I think Miles Teller would have been
absolutely.
But this is a great choice too. But Miles Teller has the lips.
There's
the
something
face.
about those lips. I interviewed him.
So talented.
Looking at him.
I bet.
This is going to be exciting. You know what? I love Elvis's music, but I don't know a lot about his general life, so this is going to be fascinating for me.
You don't know about his underage wife? Are we going to talk about that? Oh, we're out of time.
Maybe in the break we can talk about it. Coming up on DBL, a surprising portrait of John F. Kennedy Jr. 20 years after he died in a plane crash. The new documentary that reveals his hopes to get into politics.
Did you know?
I am Patty Donnelly, and I am the senior supervising producer at Daily Blast Live. I manage the show and the staff, and I oversee creative and help pick the stories. You know, and I also help by just using my past experience to better produce pieces and content on the show. A typical day at DBL for me starts at 6:30 in the morning, and that is super early. So it generally starts with me hitting snooze 4 times and then going to Starbucks and then rolling in at 6:30 on the dot. Whew. It's hard. And in the morning when we come in is my first meeting of the day. It's at 6:30 and it's the creative content meeting, and it's with just 4 other producers and then Chris Clark, the executive producer of the show, and myself. And basically we hear what stories are going on, what has been happening overnight, what the news is, and we start planning the show and what we're going to put in it and what stories we care about. It's actually my favorite time of the day. It's really fun, and it's my favorite thing ever, which kind of sucks that it's like in the morning, because after that, then there's nothing to look forward to. But I love that meeting. Since it's such a small group, we laugh a lot and tell a lot of jokes, and just come up with some really great ideas because of it, and it's really awesome. What I like best about working at DBL as opposed to other shows is that we have a really cool culture here, and it is a lot different from when I worked in LA, meaning we put the show above, you know, we care about the show, we want the show to do well, but we don't put it above ourselves. And that's something that a lot of times in LA, you sacrifice a lot to make sure the show is awesome. And here I think almost have our priorities in balance a little more, and we laugh a little bit more.
Welcome back to DBL. It was July 16th, 1999, when JFK Jr. took his new wife, Carolyn Bessette, and her sister on a plane ride, only to never return. The plane crash was another tragic chapter for the Kennedy family, a promising future now reduced to wondering what could have been. Well, now 20 years later, a new documentary promises never-before-heard secrets about JFK Jr. I got a sneak peek from historian Stephen Gillen, whose book inspired the documentary. That's in today's DBL Spotlight. Stephen, welcome to Daily Blast Live. Let's jump right in because there is a lot to talk about. How did you know JFK Jr.? How close were you? And can you share something about John that a lot of people don't know?
So I met John at Brown University in 1981. I was a graduate student teaching a class in modern American political history, and John was enrolled in the class. That's how I got to know him. And then later we became workout buddies. We used to play racquetball all the time, and I spoke to him on the Tuesday before he died.
Now, I've always had a feeling after researching the Kennedys that John didn't really want to be, as you said, the second coming of Camelot, as they call that. And to that point, your book is titled America's Reluctant Prince, which I think is so telling. Tell me exactly why he didn't want to be JFK Jr. and even his name. Jackie said, I regret naming him John F. Kennedy Jr.
Throughout his life, he kept politics at a distance.
Yes.
He wasn't going to run into politics because people expected him to. He always said, I want to do what people don't expect me to do. But what happened in those final years of his life, I think John was realizing that politics was in his DNA, and he wanted to run for office. And one of the things I remember I think it was maybe the year before he died, he had spent the day with underprivileged kids at a skating ring in Harlem. And I had dinner with him that night, and he was talking about how they were all grabbing onto him and holding onto him. And he said, you know, what they need is hope.
Yes.
They need to know that tomorrow will be better than today.
Yes.
And he said, I can give them that hope.
Yes.
That's when I realized that he had made that turn. He was no longer the reluctant prince. He was a prince looking for his opportunity to run for office.
Wow, that's so interesting. I never knew that turn was there before he passed. Speaking of John, I have to ask, he's a playboy. He was in our minds a lot of the time. He dated some really good-looking girls. And he had, you know, George Magazine, in terms of pop culture, was kind of a fun, sort of flirtatious magazine, if you will. Talk to me about the Me Too movement. How would John be today?
John was not his father.
Right.
And John, one of the points John made all the time is that he could never cheat on Carolyn.
That's
because he didn't want to do to her, humiliate her the way his father humiliated his mother.
That's right.
So John did have lots of relationships, but he was fairly monogamous in those relationships.
Right.
He was, I mean, it's a testament today, not a single one of his girlfriends has ever spoken out and said anything bad about John.
That's very true. There is a famous image of Trump and JFK Jr. at a Knicks game in '99. Just from knowing him, from having dinner with him, what would John think of Trump today as president?
I think if he looked at our politics today, he'd say two things. First thing he'd say is, see, I told you there was a mixture between politics and popular culture.
Yes, you're absolutely right.
George Magazine was ahead of its time.
You're absolutely right.
But then he would be, I think, disappointed. He would be disappointed in the state of our politics. That has nothing to do with Donald Trump in particular, but just the general state of our politics, which civility is not a term you would use to describe our politics today.
Where do you think John would be in your head? Governor, senator, mayor, running for president? Where do you think his goal was?
Well, I can only tell you what I think his ambitions were. And if he had worked through these issues in the last year of his life, I think he would have run for governor of New York in 2001. And I have no doubt that he planned to run for president at some point. Wow. Obviously, you know, fate intervened, and we'll never know. But he said to a friend one time, he was watching an inauguration, maybe it was the Bush inauguration or Clinton, and he looked at the screen, they showed the White House, and he turned to a friend and he said, I plan to go home someday.
Wow. Man, too soon. That's the only thing I can think, too soon.
Yeah.
Stephen, thank you so much for your time. We look forward to watching the special JFK Jr., the final year airing on A&E. What an amazing insight into an amazing man. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Amazing story. We'll be right back.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
I hope you all had a good weekend. So I have a story about Taylor Swift. It's kind of an update on a story we first told you about. Her recordings from her 6 albums, the masters, are now owned by someone else. He's actually a famous manager. His name is Scooter Braun. Some of his clients include Justin Bieber. Well, now he has her catalog, and there has been some re-releases of the tracks and samples, but Kelly Clarkson has an idea for Taylor Swift because Taylor Swift is upset that the whole thing happened. She suggests that Taylor re-record all the tracks, all 6 albums. So now that they're her own and that she could own those copies, and that way fans would prefer to buy it from her. So I want to ask you guys a question. Is that really important to you? Do you want to support the artist and make sure whatever maybe track you buy or listen to is coming from Taylor Swift? Or are you okay just listening to whatever comes on the radio? Let me know, because I think this is a very interesting argument. There's a lot of sides to it. Another side says that her dad actually had stock in that company so that she had a chance to buy it. But either way, it kind of presents a bigger issue of not owning your own work. And Taylor Swift has always been very vocal about that. So we'll see what happens in here, if she'll actually re-record it. It might be good for fans because she might add extra bonus tracks and make it have more of an incentive to buy her new work than the old masters. But again, let me know what you think, and I will talk to you next break. See ya.
Welcome back to DBL. Music royalty and real royalty are coming together for The Lion King. Prince Harry and Duchess Meghan Markle hugged Beyonce and Jay-Z at the European premiere last night. Jay-Z even gave them some parenting advice. He says, always make time for yourself, which is so important because your life as a parent becomes all about your child. It took me 2 years to finally realize, okay, I need to make some time for myself.
Some balance.
Remember when I first went to yoga?
Oh, God,
and
you burst out
cried during the first
It was because she hadn't had any time to alone.
I know.
It was very important. But I have to be honest, the person next to Jay-Z is like the most disappointing person in that lineup.
Let's see.
It's just like you get Beyonce, Jay-Z, and that person.
The publicist.
But it's just like worlds colliding. I mean, that's the 2 of the most powerful women.
Yep.
Young women who are making a big change. So bravo to
And both philanthropists.
The princess and the queen.
That's right.
Well said. Although she is the
Duchess of?
Duchess of
Sussex. Yeah, not quite a princess.
Okay. Thank you.
We'll see you same time, same place tomorrow. Bye, guys. Have a happy Monday.
Schubert here with the DBL Digital team. I'm tracking all the breaking and trending news, and I actually do have a breaking update for you right now. President Trump did just speak with reporters. He said, quote, the comments don't concern him because, quote, many people agree with me. So that's the first breaking update. Then he went on. He said, the Congresswomen, if you're not happy in the U.S., and again, quote, if you're not happy in the U.S., if you're complaining all the time, you can leave right now, end quote.
Yeah, he's tripling down. And what's really interesting is that he can, because no Republican is saying this is bad. You're hearing it from the left. You're hearing from Meghan McCain, from Piers Morgan, Newt Gingrich. I mean, not Newt Gingrich. He agreed. Piers Morgan, excuse me. They're all saying Republicans, where are you guys?
Yeah.
This is blatant. So if he doesn't hear any of that, he's gonna dig this way into the base, not that way out to more people.
Yeah, it's just, this is not a good situation. I don't think it matters what side of the aisle you're on.
The other thing is,
DBL Nation, please write us in, because I know we do have some Republicans out there. Please write us in and let us know what you think about this.
yeah, and there are plenty of people like Lindsey Granger, you know, on our show. I wrote her to find out her
what did she
take.
say?
And she hasn't written back, but I know she would not be okay with this. She would not be able to defend this.
Of course not.
So,
no. I don't think anyone
Republican,
can. So.
Yeah, let us know. And if you do, write us in and let us know why.
Yeah, please. Either way, we
But
want
the
to know your
Statue of
thoughts.
Liberty is a place we don't tell people who we welcomed to this country legally to go back.
Really, none of us are from here, so.
Exactly. If you're a Native American, you have every right to say that. Other than you, even President Trump, you're Scottish, Bavarian, and German. Your wife is an immigrant.
Your wife is an immigrant?
Yeah. Your mother-in-law to your children are immigrants.
Yeah.
So I don't get it. I don't get it at all. But if you guys have any thoughts, or do you think it's all distracting and we shouldn't pay
And
attention
it's
to
just
it?
a ploy, yeah. Let us know. Bye, guys.
This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
Because everyone's talking about this.
Always live, always real, always unpredictable.
You think this hair just naturally stays like this?
Log on and join our live conversation.
I can't believe I'm saying this. I do agree with you.
DBL starts right now.
Welcome to DBL. It is Monday, July 15th. I'm here with Erica, Jeff, Al, and I'm Sam. Let's get started because we have a lot of news to share with you. Starting with this, the president is coming under fire right now for tweets targeting several minority Democratic congresswomen, telling them to, quote, go back and help fix the totally broken and crime-infested places from which they came. The president seems to be referring to these four women, Representatives Rashida Tlaib, Ilhan Omar, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, and Ayanna Pressley. All four are American citizens, and three of them were born here in this country. Ilhan Omar is a Somali refugee who moved here when she was 12. In a response, AOC tweeted this, saying, it's important to note that the president's words telling four American congresswomen of color go back to your own country is hallmark language of white supremacists. Trump feels comfortable leading the GOP into outright racism, and that should concern all Americans. Now, some of you are saying that the coverage of the president's tweet has been taken out of context, like Jim Osman, who tweeted, he actually said, go back to your country, fix it, and then come back. The left totally misses the second half of this tweet. Okay, so I really do always try to discard party lines and look at both sides. I cannot look at both sides on this one. And I beg all of you, then don't look at the sensational headlines. Go to President Trump's Twitter. Read the tweet for yourself. This is blatant racism. We got to call it what it is. I don't care if you're Republican or Democrat. If this was a Democrat, I'd say it to the Democratic president as well. This is not okay, and this is not America.
Yeah, but you know what, Sam? I read this on Sunday when I was getting ready to go do some comedy later that night. I went to the mountains, hung out with some friends, had some good coffee, talked to some old friends, talked to some family, FaceTime with my kids, and then went and did comedy. And then I came here to work on Monday in this beautifully inclusive room. And you know what? For the first time, Sam, I was like, I'm done with this guy. He's not going to upset me anymore. The whole world isn't racist because one dude says it is. I'm not going to allow this man to, for one more second, affect how I approach the day. And so if you want to, that's fine. But for me, I look at my beautiful coworkers, my beautiful children in this world that we have. I remember Friday when I was DJing, I looked out on the dance floor and all my friends were all there laughing and having a good time. And I was like, that's the America I know and the America I love. Whatever this guy wants to tweet, have at it. If you want to double down and be racist with him, have fun.
No, we need to be better, Al. I appreciate that, and I appreciate you looking at the glass half full, so to speak.
It's just like they ain't coming. Sam, they're not coming.
But we got to be better. We got to call people out. I would call Biden out for this. I would call.
But then the step is like, and then what? I understand your frustration, but and then what? If I hold the door open for you and I say, Erica, come on, we're going, and Erica's still sitting in her chair and I've been calling her for 10 minutes, what is the point? Either you walk through that door yourself or you sit back down. But they ain't coming. They're not coming.
Al, trust me, out of anybody, know how you feel about that.
I'm not even mad.
Very much like, I'm glad that everybody else is catching up with this program. However, I do think some really great things have happened as a result of what is blatantly racist rhetoric. You can call and pick it apart any way you want. This is not a Democratic and Republican issue. This is a racism issue, and it's ingrained in our culture, in our society. That is something none of us can look the other way on. Yesterday, I watched the film Emmanuel, which is coming out, and it's about the Emmanuel 9 who were shot and killed in their place of worship. And the film does such a great job of showing footage of footage of Charleston and today and 50 years ago. And that juxtaposition is shocking only because it's not that different. We have so much work to do, and there are so many people who are telling the stories of our country so that people really understand the historical context of why we should be alarmed, of what happens when we forget our history because we're destined to repeat it. So those are the things that I'm focused on. People who are able to tell the story and put it into a context for people who want to pretend like it never happened and it doesn't exist.
Yeah, we just can't sit back. We got to come together as Americans and stand for what we all know is right. All right, we're going to switch gears here because we've got some viral videos you've got to see to believe. First, check out this group of whitewater rafters who apparently missed the danger signs. They go over the falls on this Pennsylvania River. Miraculously, they are all okay. So I have to ask you, because I feel like you're very adventurous, they must have known, right? So if there's 3 big signs, are they all just very skilled and they wanted to go past and kind of dare themselves?
I would think the more skilled that they are, that they wouldn't go down there.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I think these are people who don't really know these waters, and maybe they did miss these signs. But, you know, when you're doing something dangerous like this, you can't just be reckless. You have to take an accountability that you could die. You could lose your life. You know, a lot of these very skilled mountain climbers or whatever you're doing, they're skilled for a reason. They know their dangers. They know their limitations. Other people see it on Instagram and they're like, I'm going to go do that too, and I'm dead.
Yeah, right.
You know?
Yeah. That's important.
Yeah, it is important.
There's training involved.
Exactly. And people just think they could go out and do it. And no, you have to.
Not so much.
There's signs there for a reason not to go down there. Not to push the limits.
I mean, this does kind of bring back what we talked about maybe a couple weeks ago with the lost hiker in Hawaii. Should there be some kind of penalty or fine if somebody has to allocate resources to go get you because you've done something dangerous and erratic? Because whoever had to go get them, that was not an easy rescue, I'm assuming. You know, so I don't. Do you guys think that that's a thing?
I think a case-by-case basis. I think definitely it should be up for discussion. I think the hiker is a little bit different in my opinion, but for this, yeah, I mean, you think about the rescuers and what they have to undergo and how they sacrifice their lives to rescue you. God forbid if one of them were to lose their lives.
Right.
Yeah. So your recklessness has consequences, that's for sure. Okay, so check out this video of a KFC restaurant in North Carolina. The restaurant exploded early in the morning last week. Here it goes. No one was inside, thank God, at the time. Surveillance video captured the moment it happened, sending debris through the air. And check out the aftermath video showing the destroyed store. KFC says they are devastated, but grateful all the employees are safe. Erica, what would cause that? Can you imagine? I mean,
would Erica have a good answer that would satisfy you?
I don't know. To my pyrotechnic background, I would say.
Is it like a gas leak in your mind?
No.
You can speculate.
I don't know what could have caused it, but I would have to say that divine intervention was the only thing that caused no one to be hurt or killed in that situation.
Yes, because that explosion, if it were a natural gas leak, which by the way, if you smell sulfur in the air, that is the additive that they put in so you know that your natural gas is leaking. So that's just something for everybody to be aware of. That could have exploded anywhere. It could have been 4 o'clock in the afternoon with employees in there, patrons.
Maybe they would have smelled it. But there's a fried chicken joke in here somewhere. Yeah, you could work on that out.
All right.
All right. Well, power went out all over New York, turning a wide section of the city into darkness on Saturday night. Power has since been restored, and officials are investigating the causes. But the show must go on for some of the musicals that were affected, like Hadestown, which took their show on the road, literally performing outside for fans. That is so cool. And meantime, the J-Lo concert at Madison Square Garden went dark and the arena had to be evacuated. The singer said she was devastated, but it does have a happy ending. Watch.
Obviously, all the power went out in the city, and obviously here at Madison Square Garden while we were in the middle of our show. Actually, we had just started our show. Obviously, we're going to reschedule this show. There's the alarm going on, warning everybody, and the announcements to evacuate.
She looks like a doll. Could she be
does
any more
look like a
beautiful? I can't. But have you ever been, because you're a performer, you were just doing 2 shows over the weekend, have you ever been in an arena and then all of a sudden all the lights went out, or did you ever have to evacuate before?
I don't know if I've had to evacuate. The fire alarm's been pulled a couple times. Sometimes people do that at colleges. And sometimes people just go in the wrong door and the alarm won't go off.
Right.
But yeah, sometimes the mic cuts out. The mic cut out last night. Matter of fact, not on me, on the guy that was opening the show, but he handled it well. But it was out for like 2 minutes, and he was like, "That's your worst fear as a comic, because then you're just a guy standing up there. Like the microphone does kind of provide a little bit of a barrier." So he's like, "Hey, it's an acoustic set." So
but any type of error like that, to me, like especially in New York City when the lights go down, you do think terrorist attack.
I would. I'd be terrified. I was just thinking that too. Like growing up, I'm like, oh, it's just a blackout. Now everything that's happening in our world, if I was sitting in a theater or an arena and everything went black, I would be freaked out. That would be my first
and you don't
reaction.
want chaos to ensue, but apparently everybody was calm.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, first of all, you're in New York and all the lights go out. You have to think like, this is something interesting that I could tell my grandchildren someday. But also, people kind of do their thing. You know, it's like last time the lights went out in New York, they had like parties at bars, like by candlelight and stuff. So
yes,
I understand
I was living
that
in New York at that time.
Yeah, it's a freak
I guess
out,
the
but people
greatest
take advantage.
blackout of all time, or at least the one that's the most notable in New York, was 42 years ago to that day.
Really?
Yeah. Like same hour, everything. Isn't that weird? Like every 42 years it just happens? Isn't that bizarre?
It just happened one.
Well, still, the same day, 42 years
I know,
earlier. Same
it's
time,
ironic.
everything.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Any, is this the retrograde Mercury?
Yes.
I mean, seriously.
Are you on board? He's on board.
At first, I thought it was nonsense. I'm moving away.
All right.
I'm starting to see. I'm starting to see the light.
Reeling you in.
All right.
In the darkness.
DBL is live, and coming up, a room full of royals. The parenting advice Beyonce and Jay-Z gave Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. Then, some were offended by what Pink's kids did at a Holocaust memorial. We'll tell you what all the commotion's about. And you, the viewer, are our 5th host, casting controversy. Scarlett Johansson says she should be allowed to play any person, DBL Nation. Do you agree? Your comments coming up next.
Kelly Schubert here with the DBL Digital team. I'm tracking all the breaking and trending news, but I think we're going to go to the desk and continue our conversation about President Trump.
Yeah, it was great. Okay, cool. I don't know we need to talk about the rafting so long.
I'll
you can see
continue
the
to
video,
talk to
make
you.
a comment,
Yeah.
move on.
Until they're done talking about it. We do have that update from President Trump. The quotes he said people agree with him. That's why he's not concerned about the comments and the backlash, which is really interesting. I want to know what you guys think. Please continue to write us in about this because for me, it feels like the last straw, I think, which I don't know that there's anything we can do about it, but for me, it's really frustrating because I don't see a side where this could be okay, what he said. Anyways, guys, we want to continue to talk about President Trump and...
Okay. I got a good story.
Yeah.
No. We're going to talk about Trump?
Yes.
I got a cool story about Channing Tatum.
Then chime in, improvise, can he? Or do you...
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
talk about
chime
Trump.
in.
Talk about Trump. So...
Oh.
Trump.
Listen, I think I've been, at least I can say on this show, I've always tried to look at both sides. I've called out Democrats, I've called out Republicans. On this one, there's no discussion. Like, this is blatant racism, and I'm looking at all the Republican Congress men and women, senators, all of the influential Republicans to come out and say this is not okay. I'm sick and tired of the partisan, not partisan, just like party affiliation bias. It doesn't matter. If this was anybody else, I don't care who it is. I just read your tweet. I don't care whose name is above that. I can read that tweet and say, that's not okay.
I think I speak for a lot of people of color when I say that we're sad that not as many people as I thought would step up or standing up or saying anything. It's disappointing. I mean, I don't think anything shocking, but it's disappointing that more people still harbor these views, or even if they don't harbor them, they don't completely disavow them,
Yep. I mean, it's what you hear like once in a blue moon, depending on where you live. It could be more frequently. When you're like in line at like a 7-Eleven, I've heard, if somebody's speaking. Welcome back to DBL. It is time for Fifth Host when we talk about what you're talking about. Last week it was revealed a person of color will be playing Ariel in the live-action remake of The Little Mermaid. And now Scarlett Johansson is finding herself in hot water over comments about casting yet again. As a white female, Scarlett first sparked debate by playing an Asian character, and you might also recall her stepping away from the role of a trans person. Now she's receiving backlash by saying she should be able to play anyone she wants, and that, quote, political correctness is getting in the way of art. So DBL Nation, should actors be able to take on any role regardless of race, gender, sexuality, disabilities? Take it away, Al.
Good question, Sam. Justin on Facebook says, this debate is so aggravating. Didn't a black woman just get cast as James Bond? I'm so sick of the double standard. Let actors act. Justin, to your point, when I first heard the story, I thought about when I went to Hamilton in Chicago, and George Washington was played by a 6'5" black man, and he absolutely killed it. I never for 1 second was taken out of it because he was such an incredible actor. So I believe if you do have the chops, you should be able to get the chance.
Well, Marcos from Facebook says it's not fair to minority or disabled actors looking for work when someone of a different race or background takes on a role suited for them. I think in the interest of fairness, Scarlett Johansson has spoken out about the fact that she believes it was clickbait because her words were taken out of context. I personally think when she said in an ideal world, then the ideal world would be one without racism and xenophobia and without homophobia, without any phobias. But we don't live in an ideal world, and therefore I don't think that any actor shouldn't have the opportunity to play whatever they want to play. I just think that as an actor to your peers, it would be respectful to not do it.
Cheryl from Facebook says, of course, that's why they are called actors, hence acting. Cheryl, I'm with you. People get really worked up about this. I totally get Erica's point here. But, I mean, you are an actor. That's your job. You know, if you want to really challenge yourself, you step into roles like this. I understand it might be taking away from other people who don't get those roles, like, example, someone in a wheelchair. But, I mean, you are an actor. That's your job. And, you know, if you could play the part, go for it. I mean, by no means can I play a young Erica Cobb growing up in the city, even though I am a good actor. But I think that role should go to somebody else.
Paul from Facebook says the paying audience dictates this decision. And we did see that recently, right? With Crazy Rich Asians. We saw the success of Black Panther. So, yes, sometimes, and most recently, the paying audience has dictated inclusivity when it comes to acting. But the history of Hollywood is not that way. So, yes, in a perfect world, it's great if an actor can play all these different roles, but there's a select few of actors that they always go to, and they tend to be white people, and that's not fair to the people of color or the people from the LGBT community or people that are disabled or wheelchair bound. So I think it's on Hollywood to make sure that everybody's given equal opportunity.
I agree. All right, let's get to this next one. Camila from Facebook says, sure for any role or character that is fictional. I'd agree with that. I mean, look, when we're talking about things that are made up, I've said all the time, I think Idris Elba would make a great James Bond because James Bond's not a real person, so we can make him whatever we want. We can make the Ocean's 11 characters all women if we want because they're not real. So, yeah, if it's fiction, have at it.
All right, there you go. Thank you for writing in. Speaking of casting, there's a new movie about Elvis Presley in the works, and we have your first look at who's going to play the king of rock and roll. Ooh, Raquel, share the details.
Well, Sam, a former Disney star is ready to put on his blue suede shoes and star in Baz Luhrmann's new biopic. Austin Butler just landed the role of Elvis in the film. Now, the 27-year-old actor beat out other celebrities like Harry Styles and Miles Teller for the part. And Tom Hanks is also joining the cast. He'll play the King's manager, Colonel Tom Parker. The movie will follow their relationship during Elvis's rise to stardom. So, DBL Nation, who would you cast as Elvis?
Thank you, Raquel. I think Miles Teller looks just like Elvis Presley. I think he would have been a good match, but I'm excited to see this casting.
Yeah, to be honest, I don't really know who that is, but I will soon enough.
I know.
So will the world.
Do you think this is following in the footsteps of like Bohemian Rhapsody and the success that had? Maybe these kind of mega biopics?
It's a really cool story how they came out. If I went down to Memphis and saw like the Sun, I forgot where they started, Sun Studios, something like that. But all the characters that were in there, Jerry Lee Lewis was there with Elvis at the same time. I'm getting the rap, I know, but I'm trying to think of it. And who's Sun Studio? Who's the guy?
B.B. King?
No, the guy with the deep voice.
Oh, Buddy Holly.
Sooner or later, gotta cut you down. Johnny Cash. All right, I know we were rapping. I couldn't get Johnny Cash. I had to get it.
Buddy Holly was a horrendous guess.
A what? Buddy Holly was in the same group.
You have a deep voice.
Oh, okay, sorry. Jeez. Coming up on DBL.
I ruined that story.
A historic first for the Bond franchise. A woman of color takes the role of 007, but it's not what you think. And next, a powerful heartthreads meet two Iranian doctors who fled their country as refugees and are living the American dream one day at a time. Melissa and Tonic, welcome to Daily Blast Live. Look at Tonic taking a little snooze, a little cat nap, if you will. Melissa, you have a show of trained animal actors called The Ultimates, and you have done shows for GMA and Animal Planet. So tell us, what brought you to Pet Sematary, which is, by the way, one of my favorite horror films of all time?
Probably one of the biggest things I'll do in my career is the iconic character of Church. But I mean, it certainly was the live show that brought me to Pet Sematary. I have the dogs that can handstand, skateboard, jump rope, but I also have a cat that can sit pretty on my head. And the animal coordinator of 30 years searched me out because of this cat. Now, the directors had a very specific look in mind for the cat, which was the look of the book on the cover of the Stephen King novel.
Right.
And because of my training experience, we were able to say, let us know what look you would like to have, and we'll pull those cats out of shelters and train them in 2 months.
That's incredible. The fact that you're pulling them out of shelters. I, in fact, have rescued 4 shelter cats. So, yeah, I am a cat lady. You have a wonderful reputation as a trainer, which I really appreciate. So how do you ensure the ethical treatment of animals on set?
And thank you for saying so, because positive reinforcement training techniques is something that I am known for. I have done 7 years at the shelter with our Humane Society, and one of the things that I said as I was moving on set is I'm going to have very big demands. I want the cats to have their own trailers.
Yes!
I want them to live in the trailer cage-free with a human as a cat that happens to have a job. I want them to have daily leash walks. I want them to have a cat wheel, a cat patio, air conditioning. So I had huge demands, and nobody had any problems with it. So it was great working with Paramount. Because they met all of those demands. All of that, plus we're saving lives. You know, one of the cats to play Church was left behind in an apartment for a month. They moved out, they left him behind.
Oh, that is...
Welcome back to DBL. Today's Heartthreads is all about the American dream. Watch how 2 brothers are succeeding in their careers after coming to America as refugees.
These brothers went from refugees to neurosurgeons. Doctors Mayhan and Mayshan Giassi were born in Iran. In 1988, their family fled Iran because of religious persecution. They spent a year in a refugee camp in Pakistan when they were just 6 and 8 years old. They came to the U.S. and eventually went to medical school. Now neurosurgeons, the brothers perform complex surgeries for people who have suffered brain tumors, strokes, or aneurysms. At times, they even get to work as a team.
When we're working together, it's significantly more efficient than when I'm working by myself or I'm working with someone that I'm not very familiar with, because he can anticipate the moves that I'm going to make, and I can do the same thing.
Mayhan and Mayshan see their journey as a testament to what America stands for.
We persevered, and we had great parents. They were very supportive and kind of allowed us to dream big, and now we're here, neurosurgeons.
Keep living the dream, fellas. Coming up on DBL, a bride and groom say I do at a MAGA-themed wedding. We'll ask the happy newlywed why she did it. In a meeting of the minds, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex get some good parenting tips from Queen Beyonce and Jay-Z. We'll tell you what it was, and that's a little later in the show.
Monday. I forgot I forgot how to say Monday in Spanish. That just backfires. I was just gonna say happy Monday to everyone. Let me take this out my ear because people are talking in my ear. This is your digital break with Lunes. Feliz Lunes. This is your digital break with Brandon. We're gonna talk about the 5th host. But first and foremost, what a heartthreads. Those two guys are definitely living the American dream after coming over here as refugees, doing great things over here. Proud to see stuff like that. That's so American. The heartthreads, remember Scarlett Johansson is coming under fire after her comments about her saying that she should be able to play any role out there, regardless of, I guess, color. She should be able to play a tree. She should be able to play any animal. And she's got some backfire. So let's get to you all's comments. Brenda Roach says, if that's what the directors want. David Ramos says, in the show Kung Fu, the role was played by someone other than Chinese. So that was sad. That was done. But in this case, she's an idiot. Bobby Clary on Facebook says, if the movie is about a person of color, then I would say find a suitable person for that role. If the role is about anything else at all, then it's just another acting job and therefore unimportant. I don't think I want to watch her play Sacagawea. Yeah. Michael Loveland on YouTube also says, next Scarlett Jo is Franklin Delano Roosevelt, with Oprah Winfrey as Harry Truman and RuPaul as Dwight David Eisenhower. This is Comment Monday today. You guys are really throwing that fire today. Carol Potts also says, considering all Shakespeare actors were men, even female roles, why not? This will show how well they do act. Loving all the comments. Absolutely loving the comments. We love it when you all write in. I think it's something when nowadays, I mean, if this was back in Shakespeare's day, women weren't allowed to really do much. Let's just be honest with it. But in this day and age, you're looking for representation. If I'm watching that movie, Gods of Egypt, starring Gerard Butler, I love Gerard Butler as an actor, but I cannot see, as a black man, Gerard Butler playing an Egyptian person, if that makes sense to anyone. You could be the greatest actor in the world. You know, there are roles where actors are able to really show their talent, but if it's something where you're crossing over into a different gender or a different race or a different culture, then why not allow an actor of that race or that culture to represent that person? Nishihuhu says, who's going to define what a transgen looks like? Talking about ScarJo's role. So keep on writing in. We got more of the show coming up. Once again, happy Monday, everybody. Not too much coffee today.
Wimbledon winners. First up is Novak Djokovic, who powered through the longest final in Wimbledon history, nearly 5 hours, beating his rival Roger Federer. It came down to a 1 point and a tiebreaker. And on the women's side, Simona Halep beat Serena Williams to become the first Romanian woman to win. But a lot of A-list stars turned out to watch the matches. Prince William and Kate Middleton were there in the royal box. And of course, Serena's bestie, Meghan Markle, was also watching. And Sherlock star Benedict Cumberbatch got an invite and was seen chatting with Avengers star Tom Hiddleston. Yeah, what a match. I mean, unbelievable.
Yeah, it was amazing.
5
Djokovic.
hours too. Just think about like the drive that you must have to, but the
what kind of stamina? You have to be in?
The stamina.
I loved when he talked after to Djokovic and they're like, what's your future hold? And he goes, well, I have a child now and a wife, and they're going to be part of my future, saying like, it's not like all about tennis. You know what I mean? Like, it's about my family, and like I'm getting my goals, but my family's going to be my future goal. I thought that was really cool for him to say that.
Wow. Well, we will see. Here's what's coming up next on Daily Blast Live.
When power couples collide, the parenting tips Beyoncé and Jay-Z gave Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. Then, an all-new 007, the casting twist that puts a woman of color at the forefront of the iconic franchise. And it's the MAGA-themed wedding that's going viral. We're talking with the happy bride when DBL comes back.
If You guys over the weekend, Channing Tatum went on like his Instagram and talked about this new app called The Pattern. I don't know, it might be an old app. And he's talking about, how do you know me so well? I go to a therapist and this app really tells you. So, of course, I went on and downloaded it. I'm sure like a lot of other people did. Dude, this app is right on the money. It's so crazy. You have to put it, you have to know your time of birth, your birth date, your time of birth, and then you plug this in, and it all has to do with like astrology, the stars and things like that. So you get a daily thing of what it is, but then it goes all the way into like who you are as a person. So free spirit and independent, sensitive and adaptable, these are all my traits. But it even talks about your bad traits, like hardworking or unrecognized. So it goes in like you're a very hard worker, but sometimes you get caught up in your head, and it knows me so well. Everything was like right on. And I was like,
astrology guy?
I believe in some of that. I believe in any form of like positivity. You know what I mean? I think this is just a spin on positivity.
So the woman that I go to and I get the beads from,
Yeah.
that's what she does. And I went to her
Tell everybody what the beads are?
It's mala beads. So they're like they pray over the beads. But she reads the numbers according to the time that you were born. And she told me about DBL, like when I was going to get cast for this, like the month, the first contract, like so many details. It's crazy.
It's
So I
crazy.
believe-
Check it out if you guys want. It works for me. It's just.
About this. Always live, always real, always unpredictable.
You think this hair just naturally stays like this?
Log on and join our live conversation.
I can't believe I'm saying this. I do agree with you.
DBL starts right now.
Welcome to DBL. Let's get started. Music royalty and real royalty are coming together for The Lion King. Prince Harry and Duchess Meghan Markle hugged Beyonce and Jay-Z at the European premiere last night. Jay-Z even gave them some parenting advice. He says, always make time for yourself. Such great advice, and I know it seems overly simplistic, but it's not. It took me remember I told you, it took me about 2 years to finally take some time for myself, go to yoga. I cried during my first which you think is hilarious.
That every week I think about you when I do that.
But it's true, and that's great advice coming from Jay-Z and Beyonce.
I want to ask you, Sam, why do you think it took 2 years?
I think because I was just all about Sophie, and you lose yourself. I lost a little bit I gained a lot, obviously, through my daughter, but I lost some of myself. And I don't know why that takes place, but I think that it can affect your marriage.
Biological component. I think every parent struggles with the same thing. You know what I mean? Because your life is forever changed. You know what I mean? And it's hard not to swallow that pill, but to adjust to that. You know, you're very happy for the situation that you have, but it's a whole new world.
It's a whole new world.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not to get too Little Mermaid.
Disney.
Whatever it was. What movie is that?
Little Mermaid.
Oh, I was right.
Wait,
yeah,
no,
you're right.
is it?
Yeah. Oh, Aladdin.
That's why I was
Disney.
wrong.
Yep.
I just repeated what you said.
All right, well, right now, singer Pink is fighting off internet trolls over a photo she posted of her children. They're running at the Holocaust Memorial in Berlin. The caption reads in part, the very person who constructed this believed in children being children. And to me, this is a celebration of life after death. Even though she asked people to keep their judgment to themselves, some are critical of kids having fun in a place to memorialize a massacre. She also said that, she's Jewish, her children are Jewish, and that she in no way, shape, or form tried to disrespect this memorial. But should there be a decorum in these places?
I'm not Jewish, so I understand how important this is and how sacred it is. However, I can't comment on what the protocol should be for a Holocaust museum. I do think that if you're going to do something and you're going to post it on social media, then you should really own it, regardless of what it is. And if she feels like this was the appropriate thing, then she should own that she feels that way.
And this is Pink is no stranger to criticism, right? People are very quick to question her parenting, to judge her on her parenting. I don't envy that position at all. I know that you and your wife have dealt with this. In fact, your wife just wrote a very beautiful article speaking about this.
Yeah.
So what have you learned, and what advice could you give parents who are given unsolicited advice?
I would First of all, I'll say don't post that. That would be my first advice. Kids are going to be kids. Kids don't understand it. It's a teaching moment for your child to teach them what went on here, why you should have respect. I'm all about respect, so I would take that moment to do that. I wouldn't take a picture of it and post it for people. You got to know when you post that she's going to get backlash. There's things in the background of my pictures that I get backlash for. I didn't even know were in there.
Like what?
People are just,
you don't put your iron away
out of their banana trees.
Like what?
They're crazy out to lunch all the time.
Like what will they say? Like there's bananas in the background?
No.
Like what will they say?
Just whatever. I mean, it's so crazy how crazy people are on social media that it's like I got to a point where it's like boiling point, and then I almost had a laugh. Like these people are so. Why do I care what some bozo in some wherever you're from says on my thing that you just made
I will
up?
say this though, like back when I was on Tinder and stuff, like I would check the background. If there was a picture, I'd be like, hey, clean your bathroom.
Oh,
like when there's a mirror.
You're saying
that guy, I guess, from
Al
Cleveland,
Jackson,
Ohio.
who has a tower of to-go containers.
I meal prep
on
since I
his
care about my health.
desk.
Yes.
A tower. I walked by in the wind for me walking by, made them all topple over, mess everywhere. So yeah, Al. Yeah. Okay.
It was a great point. It was just the wrong messenger.
Can I go? Jeff, can I just run right now?
It was a really great point. I do sometimes take issue with it's like, what are we supposed to be looking at here? Like, what is happening? There should be something in the background. Just clean up your space.
Erica, we have a live shot of Al's desk right now.
Wow.
Oh, he cleaned up.
Yes, that's my food.
Okay,
Gatorade,
water. Yeah, there were 20 of those to-go containers stacked up
then
like,
where are
like
they then,
Jenga.
Sam? Your
and
word is not holding up,
all right.
and it's not even my phone. So there we go. That's not my tea either. That's our wonderful Lennis tea. So I think I have been absolved, and I'll wait for your apology now.
No, because you did have 20 to-go containers about 20 minutes
past,
ago.
Sam. I live in the future.
All right. Well, I appreciate you cleaning up in the last 20 minutes. I appreciate that. All right.
It is Monday, and so the cleaning crew probably came through.
Yeah.
They're under my desk.
All right, there is a new spy in town. Lashana Lynch will reportedly be the next 007 in the 25th film. That's according to the Daily Mail. They also report that one of the screenwriters intervened to pass the torch on to Lashana. The 31-year-old actress was most recently in Captain Marvel as the superhero's best friend and Air Force pilot. And I love this idea because she would be 007, not James Bond, but the role of that 007.
Yeah, I get it. I don't understand. Why don't they just make her 008? Why is this like such a hard thing to do? Like Idris Elba would have made a great James Bond, but if you just make him 008 or 009, it's still the franchise, but
Jeff,
it's another agent from the agency.
Because I really don't know this about James Bond. Is the storyline that the other they all got killed?
I think so, yeah. So he's the seventh.
He's the seventh? Okay.
Right. So why don't they just make...
If they do that, then they'd have to kill that storyline off, though.
I mean, just make a different age. We don't even have to kill that storyline.
Yeah, but in the new film, he is retired. So this does make sense. The fact that he's retiring 007, somebody else would swoop in, take on that number, take on the duties that go along with it. I think
it just seems like an easy fix to me.
I think it's brilliant.
I think it's 007 is so synonymous with James Brown.
Happy Monday, Erica. Good point, wrong messenger. No, I do think it would be kind of cool.
Erica, finish your point.
With James Bond, that you can't really change the number. You just have to change the character. Okay, I'm done for the day.
That was good, though. I would like to see James Brown. James Brown as a special agent.
I would be down with that.
I know.
Yeah, I think this could be a really cool storyline because, you know, 007 is in certain parts of the world, but I think a black woman if you think about the way the globe looks, most of the globe is brown. So she could fit in and sneak into those kind of rooms. So I think that'd be a totally different storyline taking place in a totally different backdrop.
I dig it. I do. Well, chime in, DBL Nation. Let us know what you think. Well, the future is here. You're not going to believe this. Thousands of people in Sweden are getting microchip implants that will replace credit
looks like it doesn't hurt at all.
They could even act as key cards to enter offices and buildings. 4,000 people have already gotten the right size chip in their hand. DBL Nation, we want to hear from you. Would you ever get a chip implanted in your body? Head to dblvote.com. Let us know. I'm a big fat no.
I think it's the future, though, to be honest with you. Like, we might think this is ridiculous, and I probably wouldn't do it. Because what if you put it in and something breaks and you don't know, you got to get it out and get it repaired?
Your body would find a way to get rid of it.
What do you mean?
Your body would find a way to get rid of it.
Why would it do
Because that's
that?
what our body does. It purges foreign.
I have a screw in my arm. Is that going to get rid of it? No. Yeah.
Oh.
Let me tell you guys what just happened.
What just happened?
Sam started talking, and that sentence was like a train, and she didn't know where it was going. That train was just going down a track, and she started talking about the human body. She didn't know what it was going to.
Well, no, I just know that your body doesn't like foreign things in it. That's all I'm saying.
So what about people with pacemakers?
What about Saturday nights?
Wow. What a Monday. What a Monday.
Well, who would do it here? Would you do it?
I would. I would just like, because, you know, if you're debit card, I don't want my hand to get turned down. You know, like in front of you on a
Oh,
date.
that's embarrassing.
Are we going to continue to talk about this?
Would you do it?
I don't need an easier way to spend money.
That's true.
Okay, what about you?
What?
Do I have an eyelash? That's weird.
You're crying.
Okay.
But
Would
it
you
is,
do
yeah,
it?
it is a little weird.
My eyelash is weird. Okay, so we need to fix the eyelash at some point. But
no.
You wouldn't do it.
I don't think so.
I wouldn't do it either.
My body would reject it probably.
Your body knows how to get rid of it.
Okay.
Yeah, I
What?
guess so.
You
I
have a
guess-
screw?
I have a screw in my arm holding my bicep down to my bone.
Oh.
I'll tell you a story in the break.
Okay, so let's see what DBL Nation. 69% of you say, okay. I don't,
That didn't work anyway.
Okay.
Can we clip this for the Emmy?
Start from James Brown and just the rest.
Coming up on DBL, a bride and groom get hitched at a MAGA-themed wedding. We'll ask her what inspired her bold decision. And Beyonce, Ed Sheeran, and Donald Glover are all under 40, but what would they look like as senior citizens? Find out when we run their faces through a popular app coming up next.
Hi guys, Kelly and Raquel here.
So we may look happy, but inside we're terrified. So
Okay.
one of my worst nightmares is happening in
Me
the
too.
studio.
Raquel and I are both deathly afraid of moths. We don't like them at all. Sam wants us to like grab it and like save it and release it outside. We tried that. At this point, I'm just gonna try to kill it. Travis tried to get it for us, to grab it, to take it outside. That didn't work either. We're really in a panic here. Now Raquel's got a breaking story.
Sorry.
but-
Well, I do have a story related to my story. The reason I'm so scared of moths is because I was once in my car just driving in the dark, and it must have seen the little lights to my dashboard, like the speeding limits and stuff. So it flew towards it, but the only thing in its path was my face. And so
Bring
when you're
back to this.
driving, yeah, I didn't know what to do, so I flailed, and it was like a moment where I didn't realize what was happening. And I was driving in an
my
alleyway,
God.
and when I kind of gathered my bearings, I had stood up and jumped into the passenger seat of my car. I had to slam on the brakes.
Oh my God!
My car arched back. Yeah, I was like,
oh my God.
I was this close to crashing my car because of a moth.
I can't believe you didn't. I probably would have.
So the fear is real.
The fear is real. Okay, I'll tell you what happened to me now. I was at my mom's house, and we turned. There's a lot of homes in Colorado have this air vent thing that you turn on that sucks up the hot air out of the house in the summertime. So we turned that on. Oh my God, you guys! Thousands and thousands of live moths came out of it, and ever since then I've been deathly afraid of moths. Chris, my boss, was like, "It's just a moth. Why are you freaking out?" Because I was silently freaking out over here, and I'm like, "You don't understand."
We have real fears about this. They come from
He's
real
still
places.
up there. I don't know if you can see him. It's that black spot. Can you see him? He's chilling up there. Chris is scared too. We're not the only ones. We don't do moths. You just watch. The hosts act all cool now, but watch when the moth dive bombs them while they're talking. I don't think they're gonna like that.
No one can chill.
Viral moment though. That would be funny. Bye guys.
Welcome back to DBL. You may have seen some of your kids or grandkids looking a little older this weekend on social media. That's because the app that ages users 60 years is going viral again. In 2017, we saw FaceApp everywhere, but this time it ages you with incredible accuracy. So let's see what some young celebrities would look like. Here's singer Ed Sheeran. He's 28 years old. Now let's see him as an old man. Wow. Wow, that is accurate, though.
He kind of looks like Jerry Springer.
Yeah.
He does. All right, here's Lion King star Donald Glover. Now let's see what he looks like old. Oh. All right. And Queen Beyonce herself looking youthful. Let's see her older. Ooh. Oh.
She looks like her mom.
She does look like her mama. Yeah. And we wanted to have fun, of course, using this app on ourselves. So here we go. Erica, you're looking great here. Let's look at this photo. Looking good. There she is. Let's see how Erica looks in 60 years.
Hey.
That's not how I look in 60 years.
Did someone say the SHI blank word? Somebody did.
I think
Someone from the cast?
Wow.
All right.
Thanks, guys. Here's Jeff's turn.
We haven't seen it. Well, I haven't seen
Jeff's
it, so
turn.
I'm a little taken back by
Go,
this.
Jeff. You look like Alex Trebek.
Dude, I look like a Smurf.
You look
Bob Barker.
You look like Alex
It's like
Trebek.
Bob Barker.
Oh, my God. Let's see Sam's.
Yes.
Oh, no. Here's mine. Okay. Okay, I'm ready. Bring it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Sam.
What's up, Golden Girl?
Yeah, you look like.
You look like you
Diane
still
Keaton.
got it.
Diane Keaton a little bit.
I look like I'm drinking Chardonnays by the beach. I'm okay with that. Your
And
turn.
let's end the segment. All right. I think we both know it's not going to be good. Let's see. Me look like a real estate mogul.
That's the most handsome.
Give us an angry
I look like my dad. That looks like my dad. A lot, yeah.
Al, look how handsome you are.
Oh, thank you.
I think you're going to make a very, very fine older gentleman. What?
Thank you for calling me an older gentleman.
Well, no, you will.
I appreciate
I thought his photo was quite striking.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Ladies.
You, not so much.
What are you talking
It's okay,
about?
mine's
I thought
not
he looked
either.
good.
Mine was great.
You said you looked like a Smurf.
Or, yeah, I did look like a character from Lord of the Rings or something.
Oh, that's
At least I
good.
still got my hair. That's good. 60 years from now.
You'll totally have your hair till the day you die. That's a nice head. I don't know why I'm so weird. I'm sorry.
You get the giggles today.
I have the giggles
Speaking
today.
of Chardonnay.
I can guarantee you I had no Chardonnay today. Coming up on DBL, it's the MAGA-themed wedding that's going viral on social media. We'll chat with the happy bride right after the quick break. Stay tuned.
Hey guys, Kelly Schuberth here with the DBL Digital team. I'm tracking all the breaking and trending news, but right now it's time for Fast Blast, when I give you all the news you need to know in under 2 minutes. Let's get that clock up. Here we go. Remember that Area 51 Facebook group we told you about where hundreds of thousands of people are planning to invade Area 51? They said they want to see them aliens. Well, the event has hit a roadblock this morning. The U.S. military says the group needs to check themselves before they wreck themselves because the Air Force will be ready to protect America and its assets. No one really knows what this means, but the Facebook organizers say, quote, they can run faster than their bullets. Is this real life? And now for the idiot of the day. A man is being shamed for approaching a bear and her baby cubs in Tennessee. Now, common sense says do not approach wildlife, but apparently this guy didn't get the memo. Take a look. He first tries to approach the mama bear and her cubs, and when she doesn't see them, he tries again. That's when the mama bear puts up a warning that says, stay away from my children. The park released a statement telling people to act responsibly. Oh, really? Let's go, mates! That's probably what 4 kids in Australia said to each other this weekend before they stole their parents' car and took off on a road trip. A 600-mile road trip. The kids are 10 to 14 years old, and they apparently took turns driving during the trek. It sounds like the youngsters just wanted to go fishing. Now, no word how much trouble these kids are in, but we bet their parents aren't too happy about going viral for this. What do you think? Shut up and take my money because it's Amazon Prime Day. This huge site-wide sale only happens once a year, invoking people to buy unnecessary items because it's just so cheap. And this year, it's going to last 48 hours. Now, don't tell my boss, he's right over there, but I'll be spending my workday buying Christmas gifts for the fam. Want to cut out some of your chores at home? The Roomba robotic vacuum is more than 30% off today. This is a great deal. So sit back, kick up your feet, and see exactly how long you can survive without ever leaving your house. Let's try it.
Welcome back to DBL. A Michigan couple is drawing a lot of attention for their MAGA-themed 4th of July wedding. After wearing a plain gown for the ceremony, the bride changed into another dress that said "Make America Great Again" on the front and "Trump" on the back. The gown was made by celebrity designer Andre Soriano, who is also behind Joy Villa's famous MAGA dress that made waves at the 2017 Grammys. Earlier today, my co-host and I sat down with the bride, Audria Johnson. We asked her how she's handling the response and why she wanted to have this wedding in the first place.
Welcome, Audra Johnson, to DBL. Okay, so Audra, I thought weddings were like holidays, right, where you avoid hot button issues. So I have to ask, why have a wedding all about President Trump when that day is supposed to be all about you, girl?
Actually, I feel like President Trump represents me in so many ways. We started off with a Patriot-themed wedding, and we decided once Andre Soriano offered to make the dress that we were going to go for it.
Audra, let me ask you a question. Would you go to a friend's wedding if it was a Barack Obama-themed or Hillary Clinton-themed? And was anyone at your wedding not a Trump supporter?
I absolutely would. Go to a Barack Obama themed wedding. I mean, it wouldn't be as cool as mine, in my opinion, but I would go. I actually had my maid of honor didn't want to wear the Keep America Great Again hat, and we made a compromise, and she wore a red hat. So we definitely were inclusive in our wedding.
That's cool. And clearly, when you wear a dress with bright red letters, you're trying to send a message. So is there any other message that you're hoping comes out of this, other than, of course, your support for President Trump?
I really wish people would actually read the article before they make comments about it. We are a mixed family. We have Democrats and liberals and Republicans, white, black, we're all really together in everything. We were able to compromise. We don't have to agree on everything to love each other.
I appreciate that. And yes, we always tout that on this show to make sure that when we share articles or talk about articles, that we actually talk about the context and not the sensational headlines.
I'm going to sneak in one more question here. Audra, I do want to ask you, have you heard from the president? Has he contacted you in any way?
No, I haven't heard from the president yet.
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 Congrats on your wedding. Thank you, Audra, for taking the time to talk to us here at DBL.
Thank you for having me on.
And I did appreciate that she said, people that went to her wedding that did not support President Trump, she didn't take issue with, and she would go to a Hillary Clinton or a Barack Obama wedding. So I think it's important that that she does have that side of inclusivity to her.
Yeah, it seemed very diverse.
But she did answer the question like that, so I do appreciate that. Like you're saying, I do appreciate, like, hey, listen, it's cool if you have a different party agenda than mine, still come to my wedding. A lot of people are just blinded by that fact. If you're a Republican, do not come to my wedding. So I do appreciate that.
Yeah.
I just don't know why she would make her whole wedding about
that. Is the weirdest part. I'm sorry. Democrat, Republican, Obama, Trump. When it really comes down to it, it's your wedding day.
It's your day.
So if you're going to make it about somebody else, then that's just weird to me.
Right.
It's just weird.
She knew she would get some pushback from this. She had to have.
But it does seem like this is something they bonded on. If you bonded and you were like both Trekkies or both Star Wars people and you had a Star Wars themed wedding,
that's true.
How would it be any different?
That is a great point.
It just kind of seems like a theme.
Yeah. Yeah. And her husband is a Marine, and we thank him for his service.
Yeah.
So DBL Nation, you heard from the bride. Now we want your take. Are politics at weddings okay? Go to dblvote.com to weigh in. All right, you guys have about 5 seconds.
Well, also, you have to remember that everyone was asked to sign an abortion petition as well. So it was a very political event. And I just think that you get so few days in your life to truly make it about you and feel special and have everybody come in and support you, that if you opt to do it that way, it's your right. But
to me, it's too political. When I go to a wedding, when I go to someone's house for certain holidays, I don't want to dive into politics. I just want to find out how you are, how your children are doing, and I just want that humanity to still exist, right? So for me, it's too extreme and too political.
Yeah. Whenever I'm off of work, I do not want to talk about anything like that. I was just on vacation in Charlotte, and someone's like, I know you talk about all the time about politics and stuff, so what do you think? I'm like, And he goes, I know you don't want to talk about this. I'm like, you're right, I don't want to talk about this.
Yeah.
Let's just talk about something else. You know what I mean? Because people get really fired up if you say the wrong thing. And to be honest with you, I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care. If you're wearing a Trump dress or Obama costume, I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, can we have a beer and sit in the yard and talk about something else?
There you go. Let's see what our own DBL Nation has to say. Should politics stay out of weddings? 70% of you say, yeah, it should.
Jeff Schroeder 2020.
He's got the hair. We'll be right back with one more wedding-themed story. We'll be right back.
That's a good thing.
Promote.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're back because it's my turn. This is your digital break with Brandon London, and we are just going to get to a lot of your comments throughout the entire day. We want you to continue writing in about should politics stay out of weddings. In fact, while you're at it, what other events, whether family event, corporate event, what other type of events should politics stay out of? Please do write in, because we absolutely love when you all write in. Brandy Sprong from YouTube writes, Kelly, I'm not enjoying Big Brother this year. Jack and Jackson just need to leave.
Yes.
My favorite is Sam.
I actually wrote back to Brandy. I totally agree. I'm kind of bored with this season so far. We'll actually debrief in between shows coming up in the next break. But yeah, I totally agree. So we'll talk more about that in the next break.
So, like Al Jackson said, Jeff Schroeder 2020 for the host of Big Brother. That's what I'm writing in. That's what I'm on. Paul Young watching on WHAS in Louisville. What's up, Louisville? Well, Louisville. What's up, WHAS? What's up, Louisville? It says it's not racist one bit. I think he's talking about Scarlett Johansson, or he could be referring to President Trump's tweet. Jamie Campbell, watching on WHAS in Louisville as well, says, please go to every one of these women's Twitter pages and read what they tweet. They all are racist and name-calling. So you're hearing both sides when it comes to if we feel as though President Trump's tweet towards these women was appropriate or not. Candy Moore Kinslow, watching on WHAS Louisville as well. We got a lot of love from Louisville today. She says the president is correct. And Michael Loveland, watching on YouTube, says the Civil War continues. So you can see a lot of people writing in on that. It's triggered a lot of people on both sides, just like every other thing in politics does to everyone. And this is what a lot of our comments are about right now. Nancy Cole on Facebook says, if they were born here, you'd never know it from their anti-American stance. If they can't represent America, step down. Brian Adams on Facebook says, out of line and unprofessional. Lori Fielders Cotu on Facebook says, okay now, what about all the things they say about Americans? Jim Sherwood on Facebook says, the true racists are those who constantly accuse others of being racist. I'm loving the comments. Like, you know, this is what we love to do on this show. We want discourse. We want to be able to talk about both sides and cover both sides of an argument in terms of everything. Uncomfortable. I've always felt like, and we have this, I'll show you guys our meeting room right here. 8 a.m. we have a meeting room. This is where we meet at, and we talk about the topics. We get our packets. And we know that some things, regardless whether it's policies, politics, we know it's going to be heavy. So we thank you all for writing in. Keep watching.
Welcome back to DBL. Wedding season is in full swing. People are always debating the do's and don'ts. Lately, a lot of wedding ceremonies are unplugged, and you're not allowed to use your phone at all. But what about taking pictures during the ceremony on your phone? Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't want to tell any of my friends to not use their phones, but I understand why some people take issue with it.
Yeah, I don't like it. If you're hiring a wedding photographer and that's their job is to get great photos and they're getting everyone together and people are just snapping behind the scenes, that's not fair to the photographer or to you because they're posting ahead of time without you even looking at it. You know what I mean? So I don't like when people do this.
Yeah, I'm okay either way. Whatever the bride and groom want, or the groom and groom, the bride and bride, it's their day. It's not your day, it's their day. So I would respect what they wanted.
Yeah, what do you think?
Well, I've been to weddings where they've specifically asked not to put your hand out in the aisle for this reason, because it happens so often. But you have to remember that it's someone's moment. They're never going to get that back. So just be respectful.
At my son's 5th grade graduation, they were just like, no pictures. We have a photographer. They'll be available online in 2 hours. And I think you could do that at a wedding, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They put those up right away, and then you could poll whatever you want. You know. So I like that. What? Well, you got the giggles, man.
Yeah, I love it.
We'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place. Bye, guys.
DBL digital team. I'm going to talk to Jeff about Big Brother, but everyone is talking about the smell in here. There's something that smells delicious in here. No one knows what it is. I wish you guys could smell it, but maybe not, because we all want to know what it is.
I could smell it.
Hey, Jeff.
I thought it was almonds.
Let's chat about Big Brother.
We're all having a stroke.
Don't have a stroke.
What's going on? Over here. Okay. We're going to continue to chat about Big Brother. Yes, of course you can sit in your chair. Travis can come around. Jeff's going to stop texting, and we're going to chat Big Brother.
You can get
I have the other one.
that golf course at Costco. We'll talk later.
Outfit. They said
He's voice texting if you don't know what he's doing.
Yeah.
Do any of you out there voice text? I don't. You know who else
We'll
doesn't?
bring that into the conversation.
You know who else doesn't? Big Brother house guests.
Good transition.
Who are you liking? I'm loving Sam. Nick, he got a little cocky when he went head of household. I wasn't really feeling that, but I do still like him.
I think there's more that's going to be unveiled
Tonight?
tonight.
When is it?
Wednesday.
Tomorrow night?
Is it Wednesday?
Well, they keep switching it from Tuesday to Wednesday, Tuesday to Wednesday.
I think it's Wednesday night.
Okay,
but anyways,
perfect.
so I think something went down and we didn't get a chance to see
I
it
think
because
you're
it happened
right.
too late.
I think you're
but
right.
I'm still again. If I pick these people at the beginning of the season and they do something or say something stupid,
You don't change your mind.
don't yell at me for what they did on the
Does
the
anyone
television.
actually do that?
Yes. You
Really?
pick Nick, whatever, I'm just making a generalization here, but people are like,
nice.
you like that guy? You're a racist too. I'm like,
Oh, God,
what are you talking about? I
You're just
met them
basing
for
it off
5
their
minutes.
beginning
But anyways, I'm
interviews.
still sticking with them. I liked Tommy, I like Sam, and I like Nick, and I'm
I like
sticking
all
with
three
it.
of those.
Yeah.
Yep, DBL Nation, let us know what you think. Bye.
This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
Because everyone's talking about this.
Always live, always real, always unpredictable.
You are totally off base here.
Log on and join our live conversation.
I can't believe I'm saying this. I do agree with you.
DBL starts right now.
Welcome to Daily Blast Live. It is Monday, July 15th. I'm here with Tori, Jeff, Al, and I'm Sam. Let's get started. Lots to cover, starting with the president is coming under fire right now for tweets targeting several minority Democratic congresswomen, telling them to, quote, go back and help fix the totally broken and crime-infested places from which they came. The president seems to be referring to these 4 women, Representatives Rashida Tlaib, Ilhan Omar, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, and Ayanna Pressley. Here's the thing. All 4 are American citizens. 3 of them were born here in America. Ilhan Omar is a Somali refugee who moved here when she was 12. In response, AOC tweeted this, saying, it is important to note that the president's words telling 4 American congresswomen of color, go back to your own country, is hallmark language of white supremacists. Trump feels comfortable leading the GOP into outright racism, and that should concern all Americans. Now, some of you are saying that the coverage of the president's tweet has been taken out of context, like Jim Osman, who tweeted, he actually said, go back to your country, fix it, and then come back. The left totally misses the second half of this tweet. Well, here's the thing. Their country is this country. They are American citizens, 3 of them born here. But even Ilhan Omar, who is a Somalian refugee, she is an American. So listen, I always try and see the other side. I call out Democrats. I call out Republicans. This one, there is no other side. This is blatant racism. And I want to see Republicans and Democrats unite and call people out when they're wrong. This is wrong.
You said it beautifully. You said it exactly right. First of all, it's a strategy, right? So right now the Democrats are infighting between Pelosi and the AOC and the newbies and the oldies. So he's using that. Great. His tweet, though, is just blatantly racist. And if you closed your eyes and didn't know it was from Donald Trump, it could be from David Duke or Grand Wizard of the KKK. Go back to your own country is what it said. So my question is, First off, where are the Republicans? Where are you guys? I mean, I'm talking to Cory Gardner here in Colorado. This is a swing state. I'm talking about Lindsey Graham. You just doubled down saying he's fine. I'm talking about Mitt Romney. What happened to civility? So in 2 years, a real estate hack reality show guy takes over and silences your party from all morals. Not one person in 12 plus hours has says this is wrong. That's wrong. And if you're a Republican, you should look at who you are, your senator and representative, and say, this can't be. There's a line in the sand here, and we can't say to people that we welcomed in this country, you're not welcome. And when you don't say it, I'll just say quickly, he wrote the tweet, went out and golfed, came back, checked the reaction. There was none. So what did he do? He doubled down and wrote another. You're going to get him to keep going and going if no one says anything.
And it's troublesome to see that, you know, the people that have the platforms in the Republican Party aren't speaking out, because we have viewers that are Republicans. We have people here in this office that are Republicans. Every single one of them said, hey, this isn't right. This is not right at all. So I'm sure they're looking for their leaders to tell them what's right and what's wrong.
Yeah, but how did we get here? People act like we just woke up. I mean, he was calling Mexicans rapists when he was running.
Africans go to your beep hole countries.
Yes,
remember that?
yeah. So we've been taking baby steps to get here. So I'm just saying, just own it. Like, I'm not mad, and I don't. We're not surprised. No one's shocked. I mean, when you read these, were you?
Are you not shocked though, Al? Honestly,
not at all.
Wait, hold on. Not him.
Bit.
The reaction and the deafening silence from the Republicans. Not like Lindsey Graham. Lamar Alexander.
His approval rating is as high as it's ever been, and that just confirms, I mean, what I've thought for a while. So
you're just giving up?
Yes.
I'm
100%.
And I'm not okay with that. Because,
why?
Because
do you think somebody's going to like change their ideology, Sam, where they're just going to wake up and be like, you know, so that's the thing that's going to switch you over, as opposed to all the other things?
But Al, if you were at a 7-Eleven and two people behind you overheard someone right next to you speaking a different language, and two people behind you said, hey, speak a different language, go back to your own country, I know you would turn around and you would put them in your place, because you would not want to be silent and therefore complicit. So why would it be any different in this?
Well, I'm just, but we have evidence. There's been nothing. This happened yesterday.
I know, but keep calling it out.
Yeah, of course we're going to call it out, but I'm saying the people that support this president don't have a problem with it, and I'm fine with them not having a problem with it. I don't expect.
That's not true. You have a lot of people that have written in that did say they support the president.
But they're going to go right back in that voting booth on the 20.
I think this tweet would be different, Al.
I guarantee you. If it is, I will walk away from the show. That's how sure I am.
Well, no, we don't want you to walk away from the show.
100%.
So take that back. We don't want you to walk away from the show.
They elected him because this is what they wanted. They're getting what they want.
Some people, some of them.
Sam, he ran on this. He started birtherism 6 years ago.
I know. Believe me, I'm not for it, but I do know that I've seen a number of our own viewers say that even though they voted for the president, they do not stand behind this type of rhetoric. So I think it's important to note that.
What? He said this about Obama 6-7 years ago. What are they talking about?
We know this about him, but I don't know this about the GOP. I don't, and I'd like someone to be a representative with some spine.
All right, well, chime in, DBL Nation. We do want to hear from you. We are going to switch gears because we've got some viral videos you got to see to believe. First, check out this group of whitewater rafters who apparently missed the danger signs. They go over the falls on this Pennsylvania river, and miraculously, they are all okay. Now, you're quite the adventurer, Jeff. What do you think that these are people that just did not care about the signs?
Yeah, I wouldn't say these are, avid whitewater rafters. That's just my guess, because those signs are there for a reason, to not do that. It's like everyone who watches MMA or fighting on TV thinks that they're a fighter because they were at a bar and they watched it. You are not a fighter. You would get killed if you tried to do one of those guys, and you'll get killed if you try to test
People do get killed in those waters,
if those signs are posted there for a reason. Don't do that type of thing unless you're a professional.
And put other people at risk when they have to go back and
agree.
Agree. Yeah. Okay, so check out this next video of a KFC restaurant in North Carolina. The restaurant exploded early in the morning last week. No one was inside at the time, thank goodness. Surveillance video captured the moment. There it is. Woo! Sending debris through the air. And check out the aftermath video showing the destroyed store. KFC says they're devastated but grateful all the employees are safe.
Yeah, so it happened at like 10 at night, so nobody was there.
Thank goodness.
Right, and they're looking into it, and they think the first thought they had is natural gas. So they're having natural gas come in and take a look in case there was something there. But
could be a sewage leak.
It's something coming up from something, but thank the Lord nobody was in there.
And you're saying it happened at 10 at night, no one's there. A lot of times there are people there, because if you lock up at 9, it's at least an hour to clean. We're not talking about the,
I think it was around midnight.
I think, was it? Because I thought we said it was early morning. There's no fried chicken joke for you in there?
I didn't want to. I was going to say.
Why? No one got hurt?
Extra crispy. I had that, but I didn't want to go there.
Oh. Okay. That was weird.
It would have worked. Maybe. I don't know.
All right. Anybody in New York, did you notice, obviously, that the power was out? Turning a wide section of the city into darkness on Saturday night. Power has since been restored, and officials are investigating the causes. But the show, of course, must go on. For some of the musicals that were affected, like Hadestown, which took their show on the road, literally performing outside for the fans. Meantime, the J-Lo concert at Madison Square Garden went dark and the arena had to be evacuated. The singer said she was devastated, but it does have a happy ending. Watch.
Obviously, all the power went out in the city, and obviously here at Madison Square Garden while we were in the middle of our show. Actually, we had just started our show. Obviously, we're going to reschedule this show. There's the alarm going on, telling everybody, and the announcements to evacuate.
Okay, she's flawless. But can you imagine being in a huge arena? I mean, maybe you're performing on stage and the power goes out. What would your first thought be?
I mean, that's the scary
Would it
thing.
be nefarious reasons?
My first thought is that.
Mine too,
Terrorism
unfortunately.
in New York immediately.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard for your thought not to go there, and especially all it takes is one person to scream, somebody's got a gun, somebody's got a bomb.
Panic.
And to have, I mean, the fact that people got out of there in an orderly fashion and didn't trample each other is a really big deal. So kudos to J-Lo and her fans.
Yeah, I mean, as a kid, when the power goes out, you're like, oh, the power went out.
Yeah.
Excited.
Now, as an adult, you're
Right.
like, something's wrong.
Yeah,
and it's
especially-
terrible that we think that way.
Well, Las Vegas, Ariana Grande, these are all concerts.
Yeah.
So this is a real thing. And in
Yeah.
New York, when it goes black, you're like, what is this?
And wasn't it 42 years?
Yeah, oh yeah, thank you for
to the
reminding me.
moment?
Yeah, so 1977, 42 years ago to the day, and close to the same hour, New York went into their very famous blackout where everyone stayed out on the streets because there was no refrigeration and they were drinking, and apparently there was a baby boom that's kind of a maybe a myth.
Because they were bored.
The same exact day and the same exact moment.
That's a
happened
little odd.
42 years later.
That's odd.
Isn't that weird?
Yep.
Mercury in retrograde.
I cannot believe that just came out of your mouth.
I'm on team
Wow.
retrograde.
We do want to give a big DBL shout out to the Wimbledon winners. First up is Novak Djokovic, who powered through the longest final in Wimbledon history, nearly 5 hours, beating his rival Roger Federer. It all came down to a tiebreaker for the first time in Wimbledon history. And on the women's side, Simona Halep beat Serena Williams to become the first Romanian woman to win. But a lot of A-list stars turned out to watch the matches. Prince William and Kate Middleton were there in the royal box, of course. Serena's bestie, Meghan Markle, was also watching. And Sherlock star Benedict Cumberbatch, look at him looking spiffy, got an invite and was seen chatting with Avengers star Tom Hiddleston.
You know, it's funny because I was watching and the whole crowd was for Federer the whole time. I mean, they were screaming for him to win, pointing their fingers up. That's his move. And Djokovic said he just went into his health, shut out the crowd, took it by 1 point, like tiebreaker. Long, so long he had to ask the ump. He didn't understand the rules of the tiebreaker because it had never gone that long.
No way.
Yeah, it was like a 10-10, and you keep switching sides
Think
at
about
some
the
point.
stamina for
Oh,
5 hours.
And the heat.
The heat.
Oy vey.
Wow.
I liked one thing he said when he talked to reporters after the fact. No, Djokovic.
Oh, yes.
He talked to reporters after the fact because usually, like when you're the champion, what's up? You want to hear more champion? I'm going to dominate this sport for 10 years. He goes, listen, I have a family now. I have a little boy, or I have a young child. I have a wife. That's my future. You know. So he wasn't even talking about tennis. He was talking about his family. I thought was
Sweetheart alert.
really, really cool.
No, it's not all about tennis.
Yeah, I mean, it's not. It's not. It's just a game to him. You know, his family's more important.
I love it.
On that level, it's awesome to see.
Very, very true. DBL's live coming up. A room full of royals. The parenting advice Beyonce and Jay-Z gave Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. Then some are offended by what Pink's kids did at a Holocaust memorial. We'll tell you what all the commotion's about. And you, the viewer, are our fifth host. Casting controversy. Scarlett Johansson says she should be allowed to play any person. DBL Nation, do you agree? Your comments about that coming up next.
Whoa.
DBL Nation, Kelly Schubert here with the DBL Digital team. I am tracking all the breaking and trending news right now, but I think we're going to go to the desk and see what's going on with our hosts over here. Hey, Tori, what's happening?
Okay, we have a situation.
Okay, what's going on here?
I'll just
Tell
be
us.
honest.
Tell DBL Nation what's going on. What's wrong?
I don't like this blazer, and so we're gonna switch to the other blazer. But I need to know if you guys like.
Is that going to affect show continuity?
Yeah, what's up? Change next show.
I can't stand it.
You think the other one looks that much better? No. Okay, so there's a camera on me now.
Let's do this.
Banter. Oh, she's back.
Okay, I know it looks more like a maitre d', but I'm gonna go for it.
Well, Tori was taking over. And then she ran.
Look, there's no.
And you
Kiri
can't
isn't
gotcha.
here today. It's the one time she's not here. Hey, do you think you could just help me? I'm very sorry.
Oh, she is all tangled back here.
wardrobe person today?
Yes.
So anyway, you guys are writing in. A lot of you saying that these women that you don't like, these 4 women that Trump called out, and you think they're anti-Semitic. And there's a lot of people going on about that. Scott Schmidt, Elizabeth. And whatever you feel about those women, to me, is sort of irrelevant here. Do you think that comment was presidential and okay for a president to say? And if you don't, do you wish he'd stop tweeting because it's harming the Republican Party, which is just a great party that's financially conservative and wants less government? It's not a bad thing. It just has turned into something that's almost like a reality show, in my opinion. Does this look better? Do I look like a maitre d'? The table's this way. Okay, we're gonna go with this for right now. So, is this better?
I like it.
You like it better, right?
Wait, isn't that the same jacket?
No, see, boys
I wouldn't.
don't know.
I
Men
wouldn't
never
notice
know.
it.
Men can't
If
tell.
I wasn't here when you changed, I would never even notice
Are you,
that you changed.
do you swear?
I swear.
So, guys, would you? That's crazy.
Would you notice if I changed into a different blue jacket?
No, I never look at you.
Other way, other way.
Okay.
What was wrong with the other one?
I felt stuffy.
And now you feel loose.
This blazer is
Is
way
someone
loose.
coming to perform from behind your earrings?
What do you mean, like a stage?
It looks like a curtain.
Welcome back to DBL. It's time for Fifth House when we talk about what you're talking about. Last week, it was revealed a person of color will be playing Ariel in the live-action remake of The Little Mermaid. And now Scarlett Johansson is finding herself in hot water over comments about casting. As a white female, Scarlett first sparked debate by playing an Asian, and you might also recall her stepping away from the role of a trans person. Now she's receiving backlash for saying she should be able to play anyone she wants. However, she says her quote was taken out of context and followed it up by saying political correctness is getting in the way of art. So DBL Nation, generally speaking, should actors be able to take on any role regardless of race, gender, sexuality, even disabilities? Al, take it away.
All right, good question, Sam. Bobby from Facebook says, casting directors should at least first try and find a good actor who naturally fits the various specs of the role. Then once they've exhausted those options, they can start to get more creative. That's an interesting take. You know, this whole story made me think about when I saw Hamilton a couple years ago in Chicago. Shout out to Chicago with my mom. And the guy that played George Washington was a 6'5" black man, and he was amazing. He blew everybody away. So, I mean, that play in general, like everybody that was cast, kind of was a different take on historical figures. So, I mean, I've seen it happen. That's what I'm saying.
Lydia from Facebook says, how does anyone even know what person's ethnic makeup is? According to Ancestry.com, I'm 25% Asian. I always thought I was just Italian. Don't judge a book by its cover. Thanks, Lydia. I've kind of gone back and forth on this. I think Scar Jo kind of stepped on it because she kind of always plays these characters that look almost, should be Asian representation, and there isn't. So I'm not sure she should have stepped out on this one. The main thing is this. At least let them audition. You know what I mean? If you're in a wheelchair and the role goes out to all these actors and not anyone auditioning is in a wheelchair, I have a real issue with that because that's the only role they get to play. So I think you should try your best to give as much representation as possible.
Tommy from Facebook says, I think it depends on the role. The Little Mermaid is a fictional character, but historical figures and characters whose race is important to the storyline should be off limits. Well, Tommy, I think Al just answered that. A black guy played George Washington, so obviously it's not off limits. My thing is, I get the inclusivity with all this stuff, but the best actor for the job. You're trying to express your art form. If you're playing someone with a disability, there's a chance you might win an Oscar for playing that role. So I think the best person for the job, and if it happens to be the right person in a wheelchair or something, good. I'm glad it matched up. But yeah, that's all.
And
I was done.
Donna from Facebook says, I trust that casting directors are doing their job. They know the most important traits that they are looking for. Listen, in a perfect world, it would be the best person for the job. But unfortunately, Hollywood has a history of having a very limited scope of who the right person for the job should be. It's been very discriminatory. So if everybody was given equal opportunity, I do think that the right person would be there to play that part. But that's just not been the case here in Hollywood. It just hasn't been.
Yeah, and I know we got to go, but I'll just say also part of it is like people go when they know the name. If it was two black actors, it was myself and Idris Elba, and one of us was playing James Bond, I think his name is going to drive more people. It's just about name recognition. A lot of times getting people in the seats.
I'd see a movie with you and Idris Elba.
I don't think you would.
Yeah, I would.
Me coming out of the beach, not as good.
I don't know.
I think we all do. I appreciate that, though, Sam. Thank you.
You're looking good these days.
Yeah, you are. Yep, I saw you in
Coming
your
for you,
romper.
Idris. Right.
There's a new movie about Elvis Presley in the works, speaking of casting, and we have your first look at who's going to play the king of rock and roll. Raquel, please share the news.
Well, Sam, a former Disney star is going to put on those blue suede shoes and star in Baz Luhrmann's new biopic. Now, this is Austin Butler. He just landed the role of Elvis in the film. The 27-year-old actor beat out other celebrities like Harry Styles and Miles Teller for the part. And Tom Hanks is also joining the cast. He'll play the King's manager, Colonel Tom Parker, and the movie will follow their relationship during Elvis's rise to superstardom. So, DBL Nation, who do you want to cast as Elvis?
Idris Elba.
I just think Miles Teller looks like Elvis.
And he's got that star.
He's the same nose, the same lips, the same chin. It would have been spot on.
It would have been perfect. The good news is Baz Luhrmann's doing it. If you don't know, Baz Luhrmann did Moulin Rouge and Romeo and Juliet, Strictly Ballroom. He's got that really kind of fantastical.
I did not know any of that.
You didn't know Moulin Rouge?
You've never seen Moulin Rouge out
No.
with Nicole Kidman?
And Ewan McGregor?
No.
Wow.
Why would I sit down and watch Moulin Rouge
It's
by myself?
Would love it. It's modernized. You have like all this. You have like Nirvana.
If you called me and I said, I'll call you back, I'm watching Moulin Rouge, you wouldn't think I was lying?
You still should see it.
Okay.
Coming up on DBL, a historic first for the Bond franchise. A woman of color takes the role of 007, but it's not what you think. And next, a powerful heartthreads. Meet two Iranian doctors who fled their country as refugees and are living the dream, an American dream, one day at a time.
Hey guys, Kelly Schubert here with the DBL digital team. I'm tracking all the breaking and trending news, but right now it's time for Fast Blast, when I give you all the news you need to know in under 2 minutes. Let's get that clock up. Here we go. Remember that Area 51 Facebook group we told you about where hundreds of thousands of people are planning to invade Area 51? They said they want to see them aliens. Well, the event has hit a roadblock this morning. The U.S. military says the group needs to check themselves before they wreck themselves because the Air Force will be ready to protect America and its assets. No one really knows what this means, but the Facebook organizers say, quote, they can run faster than their bullets. Is this real life? And now for the idiot of the day. A man is being shamed for approaching a bear and her baby cubs in Tennessee. Now, common sense says do not approach wildlife, but apparently this guy didn't get the memo. Take a look. He first tries to approach the mama bear and her cubs, and when she doesn't see them, he tries again. That's when the mama bear puts up a warning that says, stay away from my children. The park released a statement telling people to act responsibly. Oh, really? Let's go, mates! That's probably what 4 kids in Australia said to each other this weekend before they stole their parents' car and took off on a road trip. A 600-mile road trip. The kids are 10 to 14 years old, and they apparently took turns driving during the trek. It sounds like the youngsters just wanted to go fishing. Now, no word how much trouble these kids are in, but we bet their parents aren't too happy about going viral for this. What do you think? Shut up and take my money because it's Amazon Prime Day. This huge site-wide sale only happens once a year, invoking people to buy unnecessary items because it's just so cheap. And this year, it's going to last 48 hours. Now, don't tell my boss, he's right over there, but I'll be spending my workday buying Christmas gifts for the fam. Want to cut out some of your chores at home? The Roomba robotic vacuum is more than 30% off today. This is a great deal. So sit back, kick up your feet, and see exactly how long you can survive without ever leaving your house. Let's try it.
Welcome back to DBL. Today's Hard Threads is all about the American dream. Watch how 2 brothers are succeeding in their careers after coming to America as refugees.
These brothers went from refugees to neurosurgeons. Doctors Mayhan and Mayshan Giassi were born in Iran. In 1988, their family fled Iran because of religious persecution. They spent a year in a refugee camp in Pakistan when they were just 6 and 8 years old. They came to the U.S. and eventually went to medical school. Now neurosurgeons, the brothers perform complex surgeries for people who have suffered brain tumors, strokes, or aneurysms. At times, they even get to work as a team.
When we're working together, it's significantly more efficient than when I'm working by myself or I'm working with someone that I'm not very familiar with. Because he can anticipate the moves that I'm going to make, and I can do the same thing.
Mayhan and Mayshawn see their journey as a testament to what America stands for.
We persevered and we had great parents. They were very supportive and kind of allowed us to dream big, and now we're here, neurosurgeons.
Keep living the dream, fellas. Coming up on DBL, a bride and groom say I do at a MAGA-themed wedding. We'll ask the happy newlywed why she did it. In a meeting of the minds, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex get some good parenting tips from Queen Beyonce and Jay-Z. We'll tell you what it was, and that's a little later in the show.
Trickles in from certain Republicans. Broy from, I believe, Texas. Kasich, who isn't, John Kasich is not a representative or a congressman. He was governor of Ohio, is writing in, and they're saying it's disappointing. But I'm looking for that upper echelon of people like the Lindsey Grahams and the Mitt Romneys to say something. Rib wrote in,
yeah.
Well, I'm not going to read that because that's terrible. I do wonder if they'll bring up.
Arash doesn't have any comments, so could you find him on the iPad to read right now?
My iPad doesn't have any Wi-Fi, but yes, I will. I do wonder if they'll bring up Elvis's cultural appropriation. I know that sounds super PC. But, like, he took a lot of songs.
I know.
From like Chuck Berry.
She's a pain to work with. Oh my God.
Also, this jacket is like stifling any type of like mojo I have right now.
Any sort of creativity?
Yeah. And I'm like really hot.
Well, we have to wear jackets every day.
I guess you're
We
right.
have a sexist thermometer.
Oh, it's so hot. Isn't it hot? Is it hot?
It's dialed for women because you guys have to wear less and we have to bundle up. It's sexist.
It's like wool and it's like 96 degrees outside. I'm schwitzing like
It's
Kaiser over here.
wardrobeism.
It's wardrobeism. There has been an ongoing fight about the thermometer. What'd you do this weekend?
The thermostat, I think we should say.
Thermostat. No, you're right. You're
Yeah,
right. I apologize.
I've been saying thermometer.
Thermometer's wrong. What'd you do this weekend? Fun stuff?
Chilled, yeah. My son wasn't feeling good, one of my sons, so we just stayed in. We were going to go out to eat and do all this stuff, but we ended up just staying in. I barbecued,
Grill
cooked
it
for
up.
the family. I cooked some good stuff, made a charcuterie board.
Oh my God, that's your favorite thing in the whole wide
Ever,
world.
ever.
If
And I
you
told
were like
Jordan,
in
I'm
heaven, charcuterie board, you would walk in and hand to you. You're like, I'm in heaven.
The best. That's my favorite.
Meat
And just like
cheese.
have some music on, we had some wine.
Ooh,
It was nice. I'm like, I told Jordan, I'm like, do you like that you live in a restaurant? Because I cook like the best
I was
stuff.
gonna say that is really nice that
But
you
I
cook
don't.
so much.
I like to cook, so it doesn't bother me at all. But
and she cleans really, like she helps. She like sous chefs.
I
it.
clean as I go.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I don't like a dirty kitchen.
I cook, but Brooks cleans because I don't know how to clean.
But she will, like if it's something messy, she'll take over.
Yeah.
She'll put it in the dishwasher.
That's always the best. Remember in LA when would any of you have an apartment without a dishwasher?
Dude,
Like,
my
I could-
parents' house doesn't have a dishwasher to this day.
How?
They just moved into a new place that has a dishwasher. Congratulations,
Muscle
Mom and
tub
Dad.
on the washing machine
Yeah.
in the kitchen.
But yeah, so they don't even know like how to work a dishwasher.
I don't even know. It's hot.
Yeah.
A dishwasher?
My grandmother refused to use a microwave until like the last 3 or 4 years of her life. Never used a microwave.
Why?
Old school.
Old school?
Yeah.
I like dishwashers.
All right, welcome back to DBL. We love sharing your comments. What do we got, Tori?
Well, a lot of people feel very strongly that these 4 women, including Scott Schmidt and Elizabeth, feeling that these 4 women are actually anti-Semitic, which has been an ongoing thing with this political transition here.
The congresswoman that Trump targeted.
Exactly.
Yep.
And I would just ask you to put aside whether or not you like or dislike and just focus on the tweet as to whether or not you thought that was a presidential tweet. And just focus on that and realize that he can't move on until someone addresses this, because it's not going to just go under the rug. It'll get bigger and bigger and bigger, more blatant.
And this is what should unite us as Americans, right?
Absolutely.
We gotta call things out when things are wrong, especially when it comes to racism, considering the history in this country.
Absolutely.
So I don't understand how anybody can be silent right now. Everybody needs to take a stand and say that we will not tolerate this type of rhetoric. It's not okay. Here's what's coming up next on Daily Blast Live.
When power couples collide, the parenting tips Beyonce and Jay-Z gave Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. Then, an all-new 007, the casting twist that puts a woman of color at the forefront of the iconic franchise. And it's the MAGA-themed wedding that's going viral. We're talking with the happy bride when DBL comes back.
Comments, and Brenda Light on Facebook had a suggestion to the story I just did. It was Elvis Presley be portrayed by Adam Lambert. And at first I was like, and the more I thought about it, that actually would be pretty good. So I really like hearing your suggestions, because there are some that I have never ever thought of. But my story right now for this hour is about Tracy Morgan. Now, I wish I could pull this up for you to see. He had a Bugatti. And right after he got it, someone hit him in New York City. He was not happy about it. And the reason why is because that car was $2 million. So even though it was a minor fender bender, only a little bit, like scraped on the tire and like the side of the car, it cost $32,000 to fix. So I couldn't even imagine that. Like, what? I feel really bad for the person that hit them, because like, your insurance will never want to insure you again. Are you kidding me? You hit a $2 million car. So DBL Nation, like, would you splurge? Like, would you get a car that expensive, or would you be scared to drive it? Because personally, I don't think I could take it out of my house knowing I'm driving around in $2 million. I want like a nice mid-range vehicle that if something happened to it, I'd be okay. Anyway, let me know. I'll talk to you next break. Bye.
This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
Because everyone's talking about this.
Always live, always real, always unpredictable.
You are totally off base here.
Log on and join our live conversation.
I can't believe I'm saying this. I do agree with you.
DBL starts right now.
Welcome to DBL. Let's get started. Music royalty and real royalty are coming together for The Lion King. Prince Harry and Duchess Meghan Markle hugged Beyonce and Jay-Z at the European premiere last night. Jay-Z even gave them some parenting advice. He says, always make time for yourself. And I know that seems like almost like overly simplistic advice that one parent can give a new parent, but I didn't take that advice, and I know a lot of people told me that. It took me quite some time before I was like, okay, I'm gonna go to yoga. Almost 2 years, I finally took some me time, and I cried during my first What?
I think about you every time I do yoga at the end, and they're like, let's do 3 alms, and I start laughing because of you. But I don't think you made a mistake. I think every parent goes through it. I went through that. My wife went through that. I think any new parent goes through that. Naturally, you want to protect your kid and do the most you can for them, and you forget about yourself. It's just part of being a parent, and it happens to everybody. So I don't think you're at fault for thinking that way. Oh, look at
Yeah. Now, does it change on your second one? So you had 3.
I think it does, yeah.
So after your second and third, you were, okay, now I've gotten this figured out, more time for me.
Yeah, I think there's like a strong biological component that you have. What they say the most dangerous place in the world to be is between a mama bear and her cub. I mean, there's something to that. There's something inside of us that helps. So you know, and that's why everybody's like, by the third kid, you're like, oh, you're fine. But I mean, the first one, you are overly protective, and you do need to correct. So, I mean, I think we've seen that with everybody on the panel.
Yeah.
Thank you.
What? That was well said.
Well, I don't know. Sam was smirking, and then Tori, I don't know what's happening with you.
My mic fell off, and I was trying to fix it.
That's what I was. The whole time, I don't think you were aware that.
Oh no, I saw Tori.
Fidgerson. That's why I was
Is this a different jacket than you started the show
There's
with?
a whole thing going on.
There's
with
a
the
whole
jacket.
thing
I don't
going
want to talk
on.
about it.
We just want to call it out for what it
You're
is
right.
because we're transparent.
You're absolutely right. I'm very hot.
We're live, so that's why I was giggling.
Why
I
did you have your
apologize.
jacket on? That's a
Stop
break.
it right now. You're being so rude. I switched jackets, everyone. Sorry.
But why wasn't it on at the break? Like, I think David had to remic you like 4 times to this show already.
You're so irritating.
All right. Looking good.
That was for you, buddy.
Looking good.
Thank you.
Okay. Right now, singer Pink is fighting off internet trolls over a photo she posted of her children. They're running at the Holocaust Memorial in Berlin. The caption reads in part, "The very person who constructed this believed in children being children." And to me, this is a celebration of life after death. Even though she asked people to keep their judgment to themselves, some are critical of kids having fun in a place to memorialize such a massacre. What do you think about the story?
So I spent a lot of time thinking about this because Holocaust memorials are really different in each space, right? So the DC Holocaust Memorial is incredible if you go, but it's incredibly very real. So you're literally going to see hair, and you're really going to see a pile of shoes and teeth, okay? Now, as we go through it, what they've done is the walls get taller, so little kids can't view the harder steps. Do you understand what I'm saying? They've thought it out. In between each room is a white room, so you can just relax. There's escape routes on the entire trail of the Holocaust. If you need to leave and get out of there, there are escape routes. It's very chilling. You open up to bars on the elevator and people burning. I mean, it's that.
Yeah.
This is not that, okay? Peter Eisman is the architect of this. It's an outdoor interactive museum, and it's all about, if you look, those cobblestones are supposed to be people that have passed, and those tall piles supposed to make you feel the discombobulation that Jews felt at that time. You didn't know where you were going, sort of like a train, can't see where you're doing. But Peter Eisman himself said, I want this to be not a sacred place, but a place to people to remember. And if the sounds of children laughing, and remember, these kids are Jewish, her mother is Jewish, is echoing amongst that, he would be okay with that. And so just think about the space. And I think Pink's right. You know, if this were in the Holocaust Museum in DC, outrageous. Here, I totally think it's a beautiful
context,
thing.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but people are so quick. You know, you see that all the time on social media as a parent. People,
Parent police.
You know, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, kids are going to be kids. If anything, it's a learning moment for Pink, but the way you described it makes me not be offended at all.
Not at all.
I wasn't in the first place.
Additional context.
Yeah.
Not at all. That photograph, if you can bring it back up, I was telling Coco, our hairdresser who's also Jewish, she said that image of children running in the memorial is almost more beautiful. I mean, that's a beautiful shot too.
Yeah.
So I think we've got to get out of the head and go to context.
Yeah. All right. Wow. Well, thank you for providing that clarity.
Yeah.
Yep. There is a new spy in town. Lashana Lynch will reportedly be the next 007 in the 25th film. That's according to the Daily Mail. They also report that one of the screenwriters intervened to pass the torch on to Lashana. The 31-year-old actress was most recently in Captain Marvel as the superhero's best friend and Air Force pilot. I think this is a brilliant way to carry on a franchise by not obviously taking the place of James Bond, but just by, because James Bond, we all know that Daniel Craig retires, right? So then who better to carry on the torch?
Yeah, I think it's a cool idea.
I love it.
Yeah, and I think I think it needs an updo. I think it needs to modernization. I'm not sure James Bond and the Me Too movement could do very well. It's a little, you know, aggressive.
Yeah.
But
especially the older ones.
You know what I'm saying? Like the Sean Connery ones, like. Yeah, some of those aren't very.
What do you think the fan base will think?
There's always going to be backlash. I mean, there was backlash when with the Star Wars when the black guy, the guy that was the stormtrooper that then converted to good, like the fact that he was the lead in the story. People have problems with that. People have problems when it's anything that's different than what people know. They're gonna have issue with this, whether it's gender or whether it's race. So I think we have to understand that for as much as we're having this discussion now as 40-year-olds, there's a whole generation of young kids. Lawson won't know what James Bond looks like. He'll just be like, oh, James Bond is a black dude or James Bond is a woman. It won't. This is really just an argument amongst ourselves.
Why don't they just make her 008?
I don't know.
Why don't? It's so
the
easy.
franchise is so well known as 007.
Okay, so if someone says 008, you're going to be oblivious to 007. Like, where did that come from? You're going to know.
008.
Yeah, you're never. It's so easy. Like everyone's like Idris Elba should play, but then he shouldn't be black. Cool, make him 009.
Yeah.
Like let their own franchise take off.
Tell a new story.
You know, and then make one for every. There's 12.
She's a new 007. I like it.
But there's controversy surrounding it. You eliminate the controversy
no
if you make her
what.
008.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean?
I think they thought they were eliminating the controversy by allowing Daniel Craig to retire as James Bond and then bringing in somebody else to MI6.
Yeah, wow, that was deep.
Whoa, MI6, nice.
Wow. Hey, what's up, 006?
005.
All right.
Good one.
Thanks.
The future is here. I can't believe this next story. Thousands of people in Sweden are getting microchip implants that will replace credit cards. They could even act as key cards to enter offices and buildings. 4,000 people have already gotten the right-sized chips in their hands. So DBL Nation, we want to hear from you. Would you ever get a chip implanted in your body? Head to dblvote.com. Let us know what you think. This is just the beginning. You know, my brother works in nanotechnology, and he's like, oh, nano chips are going to be all up in ya pretty soon.
Yeah, and like,
oh yeah.
If we have a conversation where I'm like, I would never put a microchip in, we're going to sound like idiots in 10 years. You're absolutely right. In Sweden, it goes right between the thumb and the forefinger. You can enter your apartment building. You can pay for your Starbucks.
I don't like it.
You can do whatever.
So if somebody wants to burglarize your building, all they have to do is then take a hold of you and then use your hand to get into your building.
Well, if
I
they
do
got
not
you
like
that close, they can take your keys.
Well, I don't like it.
That's true.
Not like that. I can't grab his hand. Let's go to another building.
I don't like it, period. I don't like any, I don't want to put anything in my body that doesn't need to be in my body.
I'll say this. If I had asked you this question, I was going to say this. If I had asked you this 10 years ago about your phone, I guarantee you have credit card information in your phone.
Yeah.
You have your email information in your phone.
That's not in my body, Al. That's different.
Yeah,
but I'm saying it would have been crazy to you 10 years ago, and now it's completely normal.
You don't think that our cells, you're a pre-med major, you don't think that that's going to somehow affect your body chemistry? You don't think somehow your DNA, your cells, they're going to see that as a foreign
something? Have you been to the state fair? Do you see what we put in our bodies? Like, look at it.
And it affects you. There's a cause and effect, and it affects you. There's always a cause and effect.
Yeah, I think there is an effect, but I do think that some people are like, this is very convenient for me. It will affect my life in more positive ways than negative ways, and it's worth it.
But it will only give you cancer. Possibly. We don't know the effects. We do not know. Here's the thing. People are signing up, put a little nano chip in me, and they don't realize that we do not know the effects yet.
It's in its infancy stages. We don't know. It's almost like vaping. We still don't really know about vaping because it's 10 years out. So it's true. We don't know what this will do. I do think, though, we're melding into the cyborg look of we'll be part machine, part human. Wow. It is true. That's starting little, but it's happening.
Right, buddy.
Honey, it's starting now where you're putting in a chip.
She might be right.
Cyborg.
Might be right.
Yes, literally.
Stop
You're
it.
putting stuff in your ear. You'll implant it. Someone has one in their brain.
Yeah, but you don't have like a steel frame underneath your skin. Like this is just
Terminator. I just say these are.
Well, you said cyborg. That means half. That means half human, half robot.
She said we're starting the beginning of it. She said. Let's see what our DBL Nation has to say. Would you ever get a chip implanted in your skin? 80% of you say no. I'm with you.
Is melding a word?
Yes.
Is it?
Yep. Wedding season is in full swing. People are always debating the do's and the don'ts. Lately, a lot of wedding ceremonies are unplugged, and you're not allowed to use your phone at all. But what about taking pictures during the ceremony on your phone? What do you think about this?
Could I talk now?
Well, yeah, I'm sorry. I had to get to the next story. I was told to get to the next story.
She had to meld the stories together.
She had melded them together. I don't know what meld means. But through the context, I got it. What were we talking about?
The wedding.
Oh,
The wedding. What would
no,
you
I don't like this. I don't like this. It's not fair to the photographer. If you hire a wedding photographer, the photographer should have the best shot of taking those pictures. People for their Instagram are always like snapping pictures. I don't mind that, but it's like as a bride and groom, you don't even know what people are putting out. You want the best pictures that you could get. And if you're paying for a photographer, you should get those pictures without your friend's stupid hands in there.
Yeah, and I think as a wedding couple, it should be up to them, right?
Yeah,
if they're like, so it's their day.
I mean, I think my son's 5th grade class solved this when they had their graduation. When they had their graduation, they were like, parents, put your phones away. We hired a photographer. After the thing, the picture will be up in 2 hours on this website.
So good.
Yeah. And
I think this because parents are the worst when you see them at
especially
like
your kid. Think about if somebody got in the way of your kid because they were trying to get a shot of their kid. I mean, you would be livid.
I think it started with wedding hashtags. I got married in 2013, and right then people were starting to do hashtag Brory. It was not good. Okay, we can realize it's not good.
What does that mean?
Brooks and Tori. It was not well thought out.
Sam, you could have left it. Now we all can't get rid of that.
What if we went to brewery? How many?
It's gonna be like 2 pictures. What I'm saying
Can we get that trending?
Yeah.
Brewery.
My whole thing's ruined. I'm melding into something.
Coming up on DBL, a bride and groom get hitched at a MAGA-themed wedding. We'll ask her what inspired her bold decision. And Beyonce, Ed Sheeran, and Donald Glover are all under 40. But what would they look like as senior citizens? Find out when we run their faces through a popular app coming up next.
Chugga chugga Charles, my man. Hilda, like the new do. Got some layers in there, huh? The more the merrier.
And
On Halloween, correct?
Yep, on Halloween. I don't think hashtags were a thing then.
Okay, yeah.
I think they were birthed like right around her wedding. So yeah, there was no hashtags at my wedding. What about you?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
I can't imagine
That'd have been so embarrassing.
Al having the hashtag. I just can't.
Yeah.
You and Jordan got married what year?
This means internet's not working.
Wow, you better remember.
17,
No, I know,
right?
but we're coming up with symbols.
Huh?
Also, I couldn't just
17,
say this.
2017. No, 16.
You got married 3 years ago?
The one I used.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
one
we
that's
did.
landed
3
on
years.
top.
I thought you guys have been married long.
2016.
You guys been married.
Yeah,
You
we
guys been
did.
together
You've
10
only been
years,
married
though, right?
4 years?
3, I think.
Yeah, you haven't been married
3.
very long at all.
3.
Whoa, I
Yeah,
thought
because
you guys
Lawson.
were married a long
we got
time
married,
ago.
and then Lawson came.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought
Yeah,
you guys
no.
got married a long time ago.
No.
Who's the longest married here?
We've been married since 2010.
You?
So
Then
9 years.
What are you at, Tori?
Yeah.
Like
I'm
6?
at 6. I'm about to be 6.
Good for
Yeah,
you.
but we've been together since
Bert,
2004.
how long you been married?
We've been together for 10 years.
This is our senior executive producer.
How long am I married?
Yeah.
34 or 5. I think 35.
Awesome.
What's
What's your
that?
secret?
Oh, Mary.
Don't talk. Don't talk and say yes. I'm sorry. It was my fault.
Yeah.
That was 3
That's
things.
good.
That actually is everything. I think accountability and
Well, that's not accountability. Even if I know I'm right, I took.
It's not worth it.
Yeah, it's not worth it. I'd rather just say I'm wrong.
I gotta go to. I'm like.
See, but I'm with Bert on
On
this
principle.
one.
I'm wrong because I have no ego there. I don't care. I'm wrong.
Me, I just want to move on with my day.
Yeah,
you know
that's
what I
all.
mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's so
Do you know how many
important.
of us? Do you know how many of us do that?
You know how many of you are wrong?
I do it.
Yes.
But do you guys as women do you know that we're just saying we're
I
agreeing
need
with
an
you just to?
apology.
I need a
I
sincere
need an
apology.
But you know that apology doesn't mean anything. We're just like I'm
Just,
sorry
you know
to
what?
fix it.
Here. Goodbye. So.
Welcome back to DBL. You have seen some of your kids or grandkids looking a little older this weekend. Maybe you have on social media. That's because the app that ages users 60 years is going viral again. In 2017, we saw FaceApp everywhere. But this time, it ages you with incredible accuracy. So let's see what some celebrities would look like, okay? Here's singer Ed Sheeran. He's 28 years old. Now let's see him as an old man.
Whoa, Jean Valjean.
What does that mean?
It's a theater reference, Les Miserables.
Oh, cool. Here's Lion King star Donald Glover. Now let's see what he would look like 60 years older. Okay, Donald.
Looks like Famous Amos.
Yeah, he looks good.
Yeah.
You guys want to see what Queen Beyonce would look like?
Yes.
Here she is.
She looks exactly the same, I bet.
Let's see.
Oh
Looks like her
my-
mom, doesn't she?
Yeah, Tina, no?
Yeah, a little bit older than Tina.
Wow, that's
Yeah, that's pretty accurate. So we wanted to have some fun with ourselves. So
Uh-oh.
let's begin. Tori.
Oh, God.
Okay, here you are looking good. Let's see you 60 years
What
from
real
now.
estate conference is this?
Gosh!
Wow. Martha Stewart. She's Martha Stewart.
Horrible.
No, you look great.
Hideous. Look away.
Look away. Okay, let's see Jeff.
All right.
I can't wait.
Yeah. That's great.
Why does his hair disappear?
He looks like Bob
What are you
Barker.
talking about?
You look
great.
You
Or
look.
Papa Smurf, one or the other.
Sam, you
Okay.
look like you're searching for words.
I don't know what to say about yours.
What do you mean?
I don't know.
Well, let's see Sam's.
Okay, let's see mine.
You're shocked how great I look?
Here we go.
You look good.
Oh,
Yeah.
Wow, that's so accurate.
What do you mean?
Like, it still looks like, it's just really...
Yeah.
You look like you now have your own talk show called Ladies, Can We Talk? Couldn't you see that? She ditched the three of us. Yeah.
Sipping
it's
champagne.
like, yeah.
I'm okay with that. Not,
You're gonna
not
leave
without,
us?
Not without
For
you all.
Ladies,
but
Can We Talk?
I meant
The new
sipping
hit
champagne.
daytime show.
I meant the sipping champagne part. What about you, Al?
Oh, yeah, let's see.
this
Let's
might
see
be
Al. Okay, let's see Alan's 60 years, everybody.
I'm just kidding.
Oh, you look good.
I'll take it.
Red from Shawshank Redemption.
Yes, I'm very Shawshank, but I need like the denim shirt. I'm good to go.
You are
I like it.
You look
I just watched it yesterday.
Thank you.
I think Al's is the best.
Al's very realistic.
Transitioning into a nice-looking older
very
gentleman.
good.
That's
Yeah.
my goal. I'm just let's bring the plane in slow.
Yeah, you look great, Al.
Mention my name, we don't do business again.
That's right.
Not even for a stick
It's
of
a
gum.
Shawshank thing.
Thank you, Andy Dufresne.
That's me.
I know, that's why I looked at you afterwards. Red Andy Dufresne.
Well, there's some other similarities to the characters that we have.
What? Wow.
You're not a Shawshank fan?
I love Shawshank. My husband just watches it way too often. Anytime it's on, we have to stop and watch
That's what
Shawshank.
you have to do.
Wow, it sounds like a problem.
Okay. Let's not dive into my marriage.
Ladies, let's talk.
Coming up on DBL, it's the MAGA-themed wedding that's going viral on social media, and we'll chat with the happy bride right after this quick break.
I am Patty Donnelly, and I am the Senior Supervising Producer at Daily Blast Live. I manage the show and the staff, and I oversee creative and help pick the stories. You know, and I also help by just using my past experience to better produce pieces and content on the show. A typical day at DBL for me starts at 6:30 in the morning, and that is super early. So it generally starts with me hitting snooze 4 times and then going to Starbucks and then rolling in at 6:30 on the dot. Whew, it's hard. And in the morning when we come in is my first meeting of the day. It's at 6:30 and it's the creative content meeting, and it's with just 4 other producers and then Chris Clark, the executive producer of the show, and myself. And basically we hear what stories are going on, what has been happening overnight, what the news is, and we start planning the show and what we're gonna put in it and what stories we care about. It's actually my favorite time of the day. It's really fun and it's my favorite thing ever, which kind of sucks that it's like in the morning, because after that then there's nothing to look forward to, but I love that meeting. Since it's such a small group, we laugh a lot and tell a lot of jokes, and just come up with some really great ideas because of it, and it's really awesome. What I like best about working at DBL as opposed to other shows is that we have a really cool culture here, and it is a lot different from when I worked in LA, meaning we put the show above, you know, we care about the show, we want the show to do well, but we don't put it above ourselves. And that's something that a lot of times in LA, you sacrifice a lot to make sure the show is awesome. And here we, I think, almost have our priorities in balance a little more, and we laugh a little.
Welcome back to DBL. A Michigan couple is drawing a lot of attention for their MAGA-themed 4th of July wedding. After wearing a plain gown for the ceremony, the bride changed into another dress that said "Make America Great Again" on the front and Trump on the back. The gown was made by celebrity designer Andre Soriano, who is also behind the Joy Villa's famous MAGA dress that made waves at the 2017 Grammys. Earlier today, my co-host and I sat down with the bride, Audra Johnson. We asked her how she's handling the response and why she wanted to have this wedding in the first place.
Welcome, Audra Johnson, to DBL. Okay, so Audra, I thought weddings were like holidays, right? Where you avoid hot button issues. So I have to ask, why have a wedding all about President Trump when that day is supposed to be all about you, girl?
Actually, I feel like President Trump represents me in so many ways. We started off with a Patriot-themed wedding, and we decided once Andre Soriano offered to make the dress that we were going to go for it.
Audra, let me ask you a question. Would you go to a friend's wedding if it was a Barack Obama themed or Hillary Clinton themed? And was anyone at your wedding not a Trump supporter?
I absolutely would. Go to a Barack Obama themed wedding. I mean, it wouldn't be as cool as mine, in my opinion, but I would go. I actually had my maid of honor didn't want to wear the Keep America Great Again hat, and we made a compromise, and she wore a red hat. So we definitely were inclusive in our wedding.
That's cool. And clearly when you wear a dress with bright red letters, you're trying to send a message. So is there any other message that you're hoping comes out of this, other than, of course, your support for President Trump?
I really wish people would actually read the article before they make comments about it. We are a mixed family. We have Democrats and liberals and Republicans, white, black, you know. We're all really together in everything. We were able to compromise. We don't have to agree on everything to love each other.
I appreciate that. And yes, we always tout that on this show to make sure that when we share articles or talk about articles, that we actually talk about the context and not the sensational headlines.
I'm going to sneak in one more question here. Audra, I do want to ask you, have you heard from the president? Has he contacted you in any way?
No, I haven't heard from the president yet.
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 Congrats on your wedding. Thank you, Audra, for taking the time to talk to us here at DBL.
Thank you for having me on.
So DBL Nation, you heard from the bride. Now we want your take. Are politics at weddings okay? Go to dblvote.com to weigh in. Listen, I appreciate her saying that she would go to a Hillary Clinton wedding or Barack Obama wedding. For her, it's all about patriotism. But as a wedding guest, I want that far away. I don't want any of that.
It's just not even about love, about their love. It's not about their marriage. It's about Trump. It's weird. I just think it should be about the couple.
Yeah, what about like themed weddings, like Al was talking about earlier? Like if you have a Star Wars themed wedding, it's the same deal.
True, that's true, and that might be what it is, but it's not about someone else.
Star Wars doesn't create as polarizing as a reaction.
Oh, trust me, I don't even like talking about it on the show, let alone going to a party filled with it. You know what I mean? So
no, and just so you guys know, there was a petition to sign the fetal heartbeat bill on every single wedding.
So it was very political.
So it felt a little in your face if you were uncomfortable. In
that would make me uncomfortable.
Yeah,
like signing something, a petition of some sort at a wedding. I wouldn't like that.
Well, let's see what our DBL Nation has to say. They say, should politics stay out of a wedding? They say 50-50.
Whoa.
Again, it's their day.
That's right.
We'll be right back with one more. Oh, cool. We'll be right back.
Promotional consent.
Talk about this. So Channing Tatum just went on a rant about how strongly accurate this astrological.
I talked about it earlier.
Oh, you did? Okay,
yeah.
What's it called?
It's called the pattern.
Okay.
Okay, so then after you put in your time of birth and your date of birth,
it
gives you like a breakdown.
Don't hurt it! Guys! Don't
There's
hurt
a moth
it!
in here, and Sam is adamant about not
Oh,
hurting
it's a moth. It's a moth.
So these are all my attributes, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So read one and see if you think it's me.
I'll catch it when we're done.
Yeah, that's just the first one. There's a bunch.
Okay, hold on.
There's just like, what are you doing? Just click it. Free spirit and independent.
When you're feeling good, you can be the most fun, entertaining, and playful person in the room. Totally true. You're curious, uninhibited, extremely flexible, and open to new experiences. Yeah, you're adventurous.
Yeah, but this says bad things too.
You're independent
like
nature
a downside.
inspires others to be more free-spirited. You have a great sense of humor. You know how to not take yourself seriously. Your mind is turned on and constantly seeking stimulation. However, when you're struggling, you can be easily distracted and your mind won't turn off. You can hesitate.
Me.
This is Jeff.
Sounds like Tori.
You could.
No, but I feel like it really.
You could
hits
hesitate
home
to
with
take
all the stuff.
to take responsibility or commit. Your irreverence can come across as not taking anything seriously or being passive aggressive. At times, you could live on the surface
Yeah,
or
it's
use
true.
humor to avoid emotional drama.
Totally true.
So true.
So Yeah. what
is
You may also
Dude,
be
it's called the
disconnected from
pattern.
your body and not
What is
notice how
this?
you're feeling. You're more in tune with your mind than your emotions. That's
What
so
is
true.
this?
So Channing Tatum went on a whole thing about how
Right.
accurate this app is.
He
And-
probably is an investor in
Oh,
it.
that's a really
I don't know.
smart
I
thing
thought
there,
so too,
Sam,
so I
actually.
just went and did it.
I'm gonna
It's
download
free,
it.
and it's called the pattern, and it has all these things on here.
Really?
It talks about Mercury in retrograde for you, and it has like a daily thing. So it's just a spin on like positivity. You
But
know
I
what I
like
mean?
that.
But it does check you too. So
So what, you put your birth date in?
and
And
time
time.
of birth.
So is it astrology?
Yeah,
It's astrology, yeah.
astrological.
But my friends, I send it to a couple of my friends. I'm like, try this and see if it works for you. And a couple of my friends wrote me back like, dude, this is exactly
For
me.
real?
Yeah.
Really?
So I just
the
try
birthday
it out.
book is very legit.
Try it out and see if it works for you.
I'll do it after.
Yeah.
It's called the pattern. yeah.
pattern.
And it's free.
You guys were all putting in our facial recognition because it's a virus that we don't know anything about. Called the pattern.
Well, there's nothing other than your birthday and the time
No,
of
no, I
birth
know,
that's like, incriminating.
Tori, you have one comment.
I sure
and
do.
then we're going to do the
So-
birthday shout out.
Good.
All right, so yeah, try it out and see if, let us know if you did download it and tried it out and if it worked for you. Mine's pretty right on, and there's a lot to read. It's not just one thing.
That's true, though.
There's a lot
I
to
don't
read.
because my internet doesn't work. Do you want to just tell it to me and I'll say it?
All right.
Welcome back to DBL. We love hearing your comments. What do we have, Tori?
We have Veronica writing in from Facebook. She says, Jeff is usually great, but should be nicer to Tori.
Yeah.
When was I not nice?
Proof for that email.
When was I not nice?
He wasn't mean to you today.
Yeah, Veronica, we'd like some information on that. I don't know about the blazer. I don't know.
Oh, maybe the blazer.
Maybe the blazer. I don't know.
Before we go, I do want to give one of our
real,
viewers.
Veronica. Beat it, because I know who you are.
Okay.
I know who you are.
We have a special viewer. We want to give a birthday shout out, Keisha James. And what I love about this is I wrote then Keisha James saying, you know, thank you for being a viewer. What city are you in? Because, you know, we're on live so many different times of the day, and this is what she wrote back. Cleveland, Ohio, Cavs, in my Al Jackson voice.
That's my girl.
Love her.
That's right. Happy birthday, my dear.
Happy birthday,
wonderful.
Keisha.
Cleveland
Thank
people are
you
good
for
people.
watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow, same time, same place. Bye, guys.
Kelly Schubert here with the DBL Digital team. I do have a moth update for you. We did try to capture it, and it attacked Jure. I'm putting that on my Insta story right now because I did happen to be filming during it. You always got to film the behind the scenes things because there's always something going down here at Daily Blast Live. Anyways, I've got a trending story I want to tell you about now. Big Little Lies. If any of you are watching that on HBO right now, it's one of my favorite shows, but I must admit, it's moving a little slow this season. I did not see last night's episode, but I heard that one also moved a little slow. Hopefully next week we'll get something better. But I did want to update you on a season 3. A lot of people have been wondering, is it going to go on to a season 3 or is it going to end here? An HBO showrunner actually said he does not see a season 3 happening, and it's probably not likely, and the reason is because of the high-profile cast. All of them are doing so many different things. Nicole Kidman, Reese Witherspoon, Meryl Streep. You think about all of them, Zoe Kravitz. They all have things going on that are different projects, you know, different acting gigs. And so for them to all come back together and be able to get on the same production schedule, it's got to be hard. So that's what they're saying would stop them from making a season 3, but let us know what you think. Do you think there should be a season 3 as this season goes on? It's a little slow again, like I said. So do you think there should even be a season 3, or do you think it's just time for it to wrap up? I love all those actresses, Nicole Kidman, all of them. So I hope to see a season 3, but let me know what you guys think. All right, great show coming up. We'll see you soon.
This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
Because everyone's talking about this.
Always live, always real, always unpredictable.
You are totally off base here.
Log on and join our live conversation.
You think this hair just naturally stays like this?
DBL starts right now.
Let's have a good
3, 2.
Welcome to Daily Blast Live. It's Monday, July 15th. I'm here with Erica, Tori, and Al. I'm Jeff. Let's get to it, guys. The president is going under fire, or coming under fire right now, for tweets targeting several minority Democratic congresswomen, telling them to, quote, go back and help fix the totally broken and crime-infested places from which they came. The president seems to be referring to these 4 women, Representatives Rashida Tlaib, Ilhan Omar, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, and Ayanna Pressley. All 4 are American citizens sons, and 3 of them were born in America. Ilhan Omar is a Somali refugee who moved here when she was 12. In response, AOC tweeted this, saying it's important to note that the president's words telling 4 American congresswomen of color, "Go back to your country," is hallmark language of white supremacists. Now, some are saying that the president's tweet has been taken out of context, like Jim Osman, who tweeted, he actually said, "Go back to your country, fix it, and then come back." The left totally misses the second half of this tweet. So is there any truth into that? Do you think he was saying, go back to your country, or was it taken out of context saying, go back, fix your own government before you judge ours?
Guys, let's stop parsing needles. I know that's not the right term, but this is racist. It's super racist. It's blatantly racist. Go back to your country is a snot-nosed person yelling at someone in line. Go back to your country. This should be up in arms, every Republican in the upper echelon. I want to see Lindsey Graham. I'm looking at Cory Gardner in Colorado. This is a swing state. I'm looking at Susan Collins, Mitt Romney. Where are you guys? Put up this MLK quote. This is a quote that I really think the Republicans should have to see. It says, where is it? Is it coming up?
I think they're working on it. Oh, that's
no,
Newt
it's a different
Gingrich.
one. It's all right. It's about silence and being complicit. There it is. In the end, we will remember not the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends. It looks, if you didn't know he wrote it, it could have been the Grand Wizard of the KKK. And not one of you has the spine to say that this is disgusting. And if you're a constituent of any of these representatives or senators, you better start calling and say we are better in America. We don't tell people who have come here that they're no longer welcome. This is unpresidential and blatant racism. And guess what? He went to play golf, came back, check on the temperature of his tweet. No one had said anything, sent a second one. That's what happens. It gets bigger and blatant and more in your face until now we just have a racist president. I'm not saying he is. This tweet is racist, period.
I don't know what to say after that, other than the idea that if we aren't going to be honest and call things out for what they are, then we are destined to repeat our history.
That's right.
And yesterday, my husband and I sat down and watched a screening of the film Emmanuel, which is coming out. It's about the Emmanuel 9, the 9 African Americans who were shot and killed in their house of worship by a white supremacist. What that film really sets up, and what was striking to me, was the juxtaposition between myself and my husband being a Canadian citizen, and myself being a black woman in the United States. And you watch these things, and Al, you say this all the time, we see these things in black and white, we think it was a million years ago. Right. But really, these things happen in our parents' lifetime. So when you're watching in the center of what would be just a normal downtown area, 2 black men lynched and strung from a tree, and white people all around cheering and chanting and pointing and smiling and taking pictures, that's when we remember how recently the racist history of this country was. And it was blatant. It was blatant like that tweet. So when we don't say these things, then we're destined to repeat it. And there's a reason why people are so emboldened to walk into houses of worship. There's a reason why people are so emboldened to split hairs about things that we have come up with as a community, a contractual thing. This is not how we do things. Right. And now it's slowly seeping back because we want to make America great again.
I mean, those were some good points. Well, we'll move on. How about that? Let's move on to something a little funner, a little lighter here. We've got some viral videos you guys got to see to believe. First, check out this group of whitewater rafters who apparently missed all the danger signs. They go over the falls on this Pennsylvania river, and miraculously, they're okay.
Oh my gosh.
My guess is that these guys aren't professional whitewater rafters, because they put signs there so you do not do something like this, so you do not get harmed, you know? And these people are constantly trying to push the envelope on what they can and cannot do, and then they're risking other people's lives that have to go out there and save them.
Now, Jeff, I'm just going to assume, because you've done everything, have you whitewater rafted?
I have, just in in North Carolina, there's this park that's man-made. And you whitewater raft, and you have like a professional with you, and he could dump you and turn you.
My only question to this would be, I wonder, and I don't want to judge, have you guys ever whitewater?
I've whitewater rafted.
Oh, are there situations where it just picks up quickly? Like, could you be on kind of like a very kind of chill ride, and then all of a sudden, within maybe 2 or 3 minutes, you're way out of control?
Yeah, the rapids, if they reach like a class 5, can get and the current can take you. But apparently, there was 3 signs with plenty of advance warning. So it was like sign, sign, and they just kept going. And I'm like, a real rafter would take that sign seriously.
Yeah, I think so. We need to stop pushing the envelope with this. All right, now check out this video of a KFC restaurant in North Carolina. The restaurant exploded early in the morning last week, and no one inside was hurt, luckily. Surveillance video captured the moment it happened, sending debris through the air. And check out the aftermath video showing the destroyed store. KFC says they're devastated but grateful all the employees are safe. Absolutely.
Yeah, and they said they're giving jobs to everyone in the surrounding areas at the other KFCs in the meantime, so they're not left without work because their store exploded. It's not, it's not their fault.
Luckily, no one was inside. It had to be like a gas leak of some sort. I don't know.
That's divine intervention that no one was hurt.
Right?
Seriously.
No fried chicken jokes?
I got nothing.
You got nothing?
I got cluckety cluck. That's all. Chicken.
It's nothing to do with fried and explosion.
That's all I got.
It is Monday. We're kicking the dirt off the tires. All right, guys. Power went out all over New York City, turning a wide section of the city into darkness on Saturday night. Power has been restored, and officials are investigating the cause. But the show must go on for some of the musicals that were affected, like Hadestown, which took their show on the road, literally performing outside for fans. And meantime, the J-Lo concert at Madison Square Garden went dark, and the arena had to be evacuated. The singer said she was devastated, but it does have a happy ending. Let's watch.
Obviously, all the power went out in the city, and obviously here at Madison Square Garden while we were in the middle of our show. Actually, we had just started our show. Obviously, we're going to reschedule this show. There's the alarm going on, telling everybody in the announcements to evacuate.
That would scare me if I was at one of those places.
Yeah. That would be horrifying. But I was just wondering, was she using a filter?
That's what I was wondering.
I've been thinking about it the whole time.
Really?
I'm sorry. I'm very scary, and yes. But is that a filter where her chin looks smaller and eyes look bigger?
Or maybe it's just a good beat.
She might be like done.
It's a good beat, and it's genetics.
She just came off stage too, so she's probably as good as she's gonna get, which is good as anybody's gonna get.
Yeah, that's better.
But I don't know if there is a filter on. I wouldn't put a filter if I were J-Lo.
No, I wouldn't. You're J-Lo. But
there probably is a J-Lo filter.
You just look wonderful at all times. I do think, though, in concerts, because of Las Vegas and things, and Ariana Grande, it goes black, and I'm so amazed no one panicked and started a trampling stampede, because that's
it
not
could get
in
ugly.
New York. That's not.
Yeah,
that's
it could get ugly for sure. Trying people running for the exits.
Oof.
All right, guys, before we go, we have to give a big DBL shout out to the Wimbledon winners. First up is Novak Djokovic. There he is, who powered through the longest final in Wimbledon history, nearly 5 hours, beating his rival, Roger Federer. It all came down to a tiebreaker for the first time in Wimbledon history. And on the women's side, Simona Halep beat Serena Williams to become the first Romanian woman to win, but a lot of A-list stars turned out to watch the matches as well. Prince William and Kate Middleton were there in the royal box, of course, allowing pictures, right? Serena's bestie Meghan Markle was also watching, and Sherlock star Benedict Cumberbatch got an invite and was seen chatting with Avenger star Tom Hiddleston. Very good.
Yeah, I love big fancy affair, longest Wimbledon final in history. At one point, it was 10-10 in a tiebreaker, and even Djokovic had to ask the ump, like, do I go? Do I switch? Because no one had done it that many times. But the crowd was fully on Federer's side the entire 5 hours, and Djokovic said, he can drown that out. And I don't know how, but he said until the last tiebreaker, he won by 1 point. That crowd was against him, so good on him.
And I like what he said after when he was interviewing, the press was interviewing him. They were like, what's the future this is Djokovic I'm talking about. He's like, what's the future for you? Like more tennis, more this. He's like, well, I have a family now. I have a young child. I have a wife. That's my future, and I'm looking forward to that. So he wasn't talking about tennis or being the best in the world. He was talking about his family. I thought that was really nice of him to do that.
I'm just going to throw this out there now, and when I mark this moment in time, I think that it's being drastically underreported how good the young lady that beat Serena is. Halep, I think she's a budding future star.
I think you're right.
I think we're going to see a lot from her.
I think you could call him Wokovic.
Yeah.
There you go.
There we go.
We're getting there. By the end of the show, we'll get a good one in there.
I liked it.
DBL is, Erica just smiled. DBL is live and coming up, a room full of royals. The parenting advice for Beyonce and Jay-Z gave Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. And then some are offended by what Pink's kids did at a Holocaust memorial. We'll tell you what all the commotion is about, and you, the viewer, are the fifth host. Casting controversy, Scarlett Johansson says she should be allowed to play any person. DBL Nation, do you agree? Your comments next.
sugar chip.
That's not good. That's not
And my
good.
son was sick this weekend.
Not good.
I
Scratchy
know.
throat is always the first sign for me. It's just that little tickle right when you swallow. Uh-oh.
Yeah,
It hurts
I
a
might
bit,
need
doesn't
some
it?
throat coat. Yes.
Also, we should take an Advil. We would like to hear your remedies.
Okay.
You like old school remedies,
Yes.
don't you? If you have old school remedies for the first sign of a cold, a lot of people do like, my dad did bourbon and tea, honey and lemon and hot water.
I've heard of that.
It's Southern. What's
yeah.
that?
Hot toddy?
Yeah, was he just making me drunk at like 11?
You drink those also at tailgates too.
Oh, yeah. I was like, I feel awesome, Dad. I feel so good. I don't feel my nose. I feel good. So if you have any, let us know. Sorry. Also,
Yeah, keep going. What's up? What's up with the jacket? Tell everybody what the frustration is.
it's just an ugly jacket.
Where'd you get it?
I bought it when I first came to the show, when you took a picture of Talbot's, and you're like, isn't this your favorite store?
Oh, that's
When I was
Talbot's?
very preppy, and so I thought, oh, I'll go preppy. But now I've been a little bit cooler. And we've gotten a new stylist, and she's really helping me expand. But
Who
this...
told you that you were cool?
Kiri, the stylist.
She's nice.
But this is too like, na na. So this is more like, na na na. But it looks so, can I show you to your table? It's a little maitre d'.
Erica's got a jacket on.
See,
She's
but
pulling
Erica
it
can
off.
pull off. See, that, but look at what's interesting. Note the high shoulders. Those are cool. Note the lapel is better, and the wide angle, and the color, and the buttons.
And she's not fidgeting with it all
Oh, it's
show long.
like wool and sticky. It's terrible. It's terrible.
It's silk.
It's not silk. This is silk. This is cheap wool.
The 1 inch that's not silk.
It's very. This one part's really hot.
Oh my goodness.
Ugh.
So all show long, Tori's like, if you caught a squirrel and put it in a box, that's pretty much what it's like.
Fidgety today. I hate it.
Welcome back to DBL. It's time for Fifth Host, and we talk about what you're talking about. Last week, it was revealed a person of color will be playing Ariel in the live-action remake of The Little Mermaid, and now Scarlett Johansson is finding herself in hot water over comments about casting. As a white female, Scarlett first sparked debate by playing an Asian, and you might also recall her stepping away from the role of a trans person. Now she's receiving backlash for this, saying she should be able to play anyone she wants. However, she says her quote was taken out of context and followed it up by saying that political correctness is getting in the way of art. So DBL Nation, should actors be able to play any role regardless of race, gender, sexuality, or even disabilities?
All right, let's get to your comments. Marcos from Facebook says, it's not fair to minority or disabled actors looking for work when someone of a different race or background takes a role suited for them. Marcos, I certainly understand where you're coming from. Scarlett followed up and said that in an ideal world, she should be able to play anyone. And yes, that ideal world would only exist if there wasn't phobias of all sorts, or racisms, or whatever you want to call it, discrimination in general. So if there wasn't discrimination and it was an equal playing field, fine. But if there isn't, since there isn't, I would say it's more respectful to leave that role for someone who it's intended for.
All right. Candace from Facebook says, everyone seemed to love the musical Hamilton. Why not, Candace? I'm one of those people. I took my mom to see Hamilton in Chicago a couple years ago, and the guy that played George Washington was a 6'5" black man, and he blew everybody away, had everybody in there crying. So, I've seen it done.
Yeah, I did. I loved Hamilton too. Mickey from YouTube says, get ready for Scarlett's next role as Aretha Franklin.
I'm down.
That's really funny. Mickey.
We do need an arena movie.
Aretha? We do need an Aretha movie.
Yeah, there will be.
Jennifer Hutt, someone.
Oh, Jennifer Hutt.
Right, J. Hutt. Real quick, yeah, I really strongly agree with what Erica said. Yes, you can play anyone, ScarJo, but should you? I strongly believe at least allow someone to audition who has what is the part. If it's a wheelchair or disabled actor, please allow disabled actors to come on. That's the one time they get to do that. When you're an abled actor, you have all the roles.
But what if the casting director feels like the abled actor sitting in the wheelchair is a better actor than the person.
I understand that, and I did kind of take a harsh stance earlier today. I get that, but what I'm trying to say is get them in the auditions. I don't think they're even coming to these auditions. So the kid from Breaking Bad, he had cerebral palsy in the show. He had cerebral palsy. That's a great role for someone to represent that and to own that. So I'm with Erica.
All right, Leroy from Facebook says, movies exist to make money. Producers will decide who to cast in order to accomplish that. The public will decide if they were correct. There's no extra credit for deliberately casting a movie based on political correctness. I'm kind of with you on this one. You know, like, I get what Tori's saying, and there should be equal rights for everybody, but it's the best actor for the job. That's my bottom line. And like you said, the producers should be able to decide that. If I have a chance to put a great actor in there that's going to bring more names and more money to the box office, I personally, as a movie maker, would want to do that.
And Jeff, let's not forget how we even get to the point where we have producers or a box office at all. You have to get investors for your movie, and you say, hey, I have this project. I have Erica Cobb attached, and I have Anthony Anderson attached. And that's the way you pitch it, so people would be like, here's a couple $1 million for me to invest in your movie. If you go, hey, I got this guy, and I really like this other kid, but he's kind of a nobody. I mean, it's not going to get as much.
Chadwick Boseman wasn't a huge star for Black Panther. If you take a chance, it can work out.
Oh, absolutely. But if you have
a
chance to get like Daniel Day-Lewis and then somebody who is not known, me personally, I'm going to take Daniel Day-Lewis.
I feel you. I do
know
think
what I mean?
it's a business. I just hope they get in the door.
All right. I do like
And also, Michael B. Jordan was in.
He was also in Friday Night Lights, though.
Right. No, I know, but I'm saying Chadwick was unknown at the time.
All right.
And there's that
Unknown?
silence.
Okay.
And there it is again. There's a new movie about Elvis Presley in the works, and we have our first look at who's going to play the king of rock and roll. Let's get up to Raquel with the news at the moment.
Well, right now, a former Disney star is ready to put on the blue suede shoes and star in Baz Luhrmann's new biopic. Austin Butler just landed the role of Elvis in the film. Now, the 27-year-old actor beat out other celebrities like Harry Styles and Miles Teller for the part. And Tom Hanks is also joining the cast. He'll play the King's manager, Colonel Tom Parker, and the movie will follow their relationship during Elvis's rise to stardom. So, DBL Nation, who would you cast as Elvis?
I don't know. I think this is going to be great. I don't know who I would cast. I don't know. To be honest, I don't know who this young man is, but I'm sure I'm going to after this comes out with Tom Hanks, because it's a wonderful story on how Elvis got started at that Sun Studios in Memphis. It's really cool.
It's going to be interesting. Baz Luhrmann, the director, just so you know, did Moulin Rouge, Romeo and Juliet, Strictly Ballroom. Really visual, very like intense with music and kind of cutting in. So I can't wait to see it. It should be really good.
Al, one of your favorite?
Yeah. I've never seen Moulin Rouge. Ever.
But if I did double.
Or is it Mulan? Are they the same movie?
Mulan?
No.
Moulin Rouge is different.
Movie.
I don't know.
Isn't that the rat?
No.
That's Ratatouille.
Oh.
Yeah.
Who's Moana? I do love that movie.
I've never seen any of those. I can't.
You never saw Moana?
My kids had it on. I can't sit through it. I think they're funny cartoons, like Teen Titans. Teen Titans Go's funny. Like that, there's some funny cartoons, but those don't get.
I haven't seen any of them either, Al.
Okay, there we go.
All right, watch Moana. Coming up on DBL, a historic first for the Bond franchise. A woman of color takes the role of 007, but it's not what you think. And next, the powerful heartthreads meet two Iranian doctors who fled their country as refugees and are living the American dream one day at a time.
Here with the DBL digital team. I'm tracking all the breaking and trending news, but right now it's time for Fast Blast, when I give you all the news you need to know in under 2 minutes. Let's get that clock up. Here we go. Remember that Area 51 Facebook group we told you about, where hundreds of thousands of people are planning to invade Area 51? They said they want to see them aliens. Well, the event has hit a roadblock this morning. The U.S. military says the group needs to check themselves before they wreck themselves, because the Air Force will be ready to protect America and its assets. No one really knows what this means, but the Facebook organizers say, quote, they can run faster than their bullets. Is this real life? And now for the idiot of the day. A man is being shamed for approaching a bear and her baby cubs in Tennessee. Now, common sense says do not approach wildlife, but apparently this guy didn't get the memo. Take a look. He first tries to approach the mama bear and her cubs, and when she doesn't see them, he tries again. That's when the mama bear puts up a warning that says, stay away from my children. The park released a statement telling people to act responsibly. Oh, really? Let's go, mates! That's probably what 4 kids in Australia said to each other this weekend before they stole their parents' car and took off on a road trip. A 600-mile road trip. The kids are 10 to 14 years old, and they apparently took turns driving during the trek. It sounds like the youngsters just wanted to go fishing. Now, no word how much trouble these kids are in, but we bet their parents aren't too happy about going viral for this. What do you think? Shut up and take my money because it's Amazon Prime Day. This huge site-wide sale only happens once a year, invoking people to buy unnecessary items because it's just so cheap. And this year, it's going to last 48 hours. Now, don't tell my boss, he's right over there, but I'll be spending my workday buying Christmas gifts for the fam. Want to cut out some of your chores at home? The Roomba robotic vacuum is more than 30% off today. This is a great deal. So sit back, kick up your feet, and see exactly how long you can survive without ever leaving your house. Let's try it.
Welcome back to DBL. Today's Hard Threads is all about the American dream. Watch how 2 brothers are succeeding in their careers after coming to America as refugees.
These brothers went from refugees to neurosurgeons. Doctors Mayhan and Mayshan Giassi were born in Iran. In 1988, their family fled Iran because of religious persecution. They spent a year in a refugee camp in Pakistan when they were just 6 and 8 years old. They came to the U.S. and eventually went to medical school. Now neurosurgeons, the brothers perform complex surgeries for people who have suffered brain tumors, strokes, or aneurysms. At times, they even get to work as a team.
When we're working together, it's significantly more efficient than when I'm working by myself or I'm working with someone that I'm not very familiar with, because he can anticipate the moves that I'm going to make, and I can do the same thing.
Mayhan and Mayshan see their journey as a testament to what America stands for.
We persevered and we had great parents. They were very supportive and kind of allowed us to dream big, and now we're here, neurosurgeons.
Keep living the dream, fellas. Coming up on DBL, a bride and groom say I do at a MAGA-themed wedding. We'll ask the happy newlywed why she did it. In a meeting of the minds, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex get some good parenting tips from Queen Beyonce and Jay-Z. We'll tell you what it was, and that's a little later in the show.
Promotional consider.
About James Bond and 007 being a new character, a black woman, and the reason Stu was saying this is so interesting is people think 007 has something connected to James Bond, but it actually doesn't. So explain what you were saying about Ian Fleming wrote.
Like originally there were like any agent in MI6 that has a license to kill is a 00 agent.
Right, so you're 001, 002.
Yeah, and I think in the original books there were 3 or 4 of them, and then as the films went on, there became more and more and more, and now there's been reference to up to like I think 011 or something like that. So it's kind of a cool idea that James Bond isn't always
with 007.
Like 007 doesn't die with James Bond.
Right. There'll be another 007.
Yeah, somebody else would take that number over.
I really think it's cool to say, what does 007 mean? You're like, it means a license to kill. Yeah. Like, that's so cool.
Why can't you just make her 008? Sorry. Well, I was on the same.
I know, I'm very sorry.
You could, but like, someone was 007 before James Bond,
and someone will be.
But don't 12 agents have a license to kill?
Yeah, there's many of them.
Thanks, Pete. You sound smart.
And it's all like, but they all have a 00 code name. It's a code name, right?
Right.
So
but why don't they have like Idris Elba be 006? You know what I mean? And start their own franchise without the controversy.
Yeah, I mean essentially.
Yeah, I kind of know what you mean.
It'd be fine.
You know what I mean?
But here's my thing. He doesn't have to be 006 or 008. He can be 007, but also not be James Bond. Like James Bond is not the only person who can ever be 007.
I got you. So if that James Bond died, the opening for 007 is still there, and you can still
take it.
There's a great position opening up. Great benefits. Like lots of travel.
What's your favorite? Yeah.
Make up a comment.
Oh.
I mean, read one off the internet. Our internet isn't working.
Our internet's not working, you guys. So when you're like, why are they just discussing it? That's what we're seeing. This little pink elephant thing. Is that? Oh, I don't know what that is.
That's an astronaut, I think.
Whatever.
baseball.
What's your favorite James Bond movie? I love GoldenEye so much.
Me too.
Dude,
GoldenEye is amazing.
So when I think of GoldenEye, I think of college. Remember, like, Super Nintendo?
64.
Nintendo 64. That's
Brooks
what it
played
was.
it constantly.
Dude, and we played in our dorm room.
Played it
And, like, you get the 4 screens or whatever, and you have to, like, go kill each other.
GoldenEye. And you
Dude.
know what he says? He finds directions because of that game. He's better at directions because of it.
I don't know about that. That sounds crazy.
Yeah, that's an interesting.
Well, I don't play video games, and I don't know where I'm going.
There's also some other experimental things in college. You know what I mean?
I don't know what you're talking about.
GoldenEye.
No one ever had that.
I found your weakness.
I used to play GoldenEye and listen to Bone Thugs and Harmony.
Oh yeah.
I'll meet you at the crossroads.
Welcome back to DBL. We love sharing your comments, and Tori has the best one.
I sure do. Someone wrote in and said they absolutely love viral videos, and I think it's interesting. Everything will be viral now because everyone is a camera.
Who wrote it? Who wrote that?
Lucas.
Lucas? From where? Did they say?
Iowa.
Oh, Lucas from Iowa. Awesome. He loves viral videos. So do we.
But don't you think everything will be caught on camera because everyone has a camera now? There won't be a non-viral moment ever again.
We've had cameras for almost 10 years now.
Not in your hand?
Yeah, it's been a while.
Lucas?
They weren't easily uploaded, okay?
Here's what's coming up next on Daily Blast Live.
When power couples collide, the parenting tips Beyonce and Jay-Z gave Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. Then, an all-new 007, the casting twist that puts a woman of color at the forefront of the iconic franchise. And it's the MAGA-themed wedding that's going viral. We're talking with the happy bride when DBL comes back.
To me, this is an exciting week because as a lover of space, this is the 50th anniversary of Apollo 11, of going to the moon and coming back. And there's lots of special events going around all around the nation. I was looking up in Denver because that's where we're based out of. And I just missed an astronaut speaking, not one part of the mission, just an astronaut. And there was someone that was part of the mission on the ground that was here to speak. So if this is something that interests you, there are lots of speakers. There's lots of things going around all over the U.S. So I would just check it out and see if there's like something like watch parties, viewing parties, speakers. It's a fun week. And I just want to know, like, if you're around that time, what your memories are of the moon landing and where you hope things to go in the future. I know I recently went over to Florida to see the SpaceX mission launch, and what they're trying to eventually do is send people to Mars and the moon. And Alex was just asking me about it and how is that possible, how much it would cost. I don't know yet. So I want to ask you, like, how much would you pay just to go into space? Like, not even to want to, like, the planet or the moon. Just how much would you be willing to pay to go into space? Would you do it right away, or would you wait till it was like a little more tested, is kind of how I would describe it. Personally, I'd wait a few years. So I imagine if this happens within the next 5 to 10, 15 years, I would probably wait another 10 to make sure everything is sorted out. But let me know in the comments, and I will talk to you in a new break. Bye.
This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
Because everyone's talking about this.
Always live, always real, always unpredictable.
You are totally off base here.
Log on and join our live conversation.
You think this hair just naturally stays like this?
DBL starts right now.
3, 2.
Welcome to Daily Blast Live. Let's get to it, guys. Music, royalty, and real royalty. Why did my voice go like that? are coming together for The Lion King. Prince Harry and Duchess Meghan Markle hugged Beyonce and Jay-Z at the European premiere last night. Jay-Z even gave them some parenting advice. He says, always make time for yourself. And I think that's a really good piece of advice, being a new parent. You get caught up, especially in your first kid, you get very caught up into protecting your child and being there for your child, and you forget about yourself and the relationship that you're in. So I think it's a common mistake. Our second one, sadly, we're taking more time for ourselves, not so much for him. Not that we neglect little Leighton at all, but I could see by the third child how it's just like, do whatever you want.
Jeff, I thought you were going to say, now we love little what's his name. I thought you were about to say.
No, Leighton, nice.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I know Leighton.
Yeah, no, I mean, but I mean, I think that because you're so hypersensitive with the first child, it makes it seem like you're kind of slacking off, but you're probably just being normal. Because overcorrecting either way is not good. If you were like a parent that's like, oh, he's playing with a knife, he'll be fine, that's bad. But if you're a helicopter parent too, you're gonna affect how they develop. So I think you guys are right where you should be. It's like, you know, you monitor, you keep an eye, but you let them develop and kind of learn things the hard way sometimes.
Yeah.
Brandy Sprong wrote us, I have a 5-year-old and I'm still trying to find myself again. It's hard, but I have to put me first.
Yeah, it is hard. I think, you know, people think there's something wrong with thinking that way or something. I think it's something that every parent goes through.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Your compassion.
If you're doing it right, yeah.
Yeah, your compassion practice is not complete unless you have self-compassion.
Yeah.
Did you have Chinese food last night?
Your compassion practice is incomplete if it does not include self-compassion. Boom.
You can't do that after you messed it up the first time.
Messed it up, all right.
No, I mean, I understand what you're saying. I think we all kind of got the gist. But yeah, it's, you know, when you look at your parents, do you feel like they like kind of were hard on you, or like they let you kind of develop and let you fall? Like,
look at what happened.
My parents were definitely on top of me. Like, I couldn't do anything. My little sister, I'm like, are we from the same people? Like, they were just
wait, what's the age gap?
Yeah, 7. So it's me, and then 3 years later is my brother, and then 7 years after me was my sister. And then I have an older brother, but he moved in with us around 14, so he operates as an only child.
Oh, man.
I operate as the oldest, and my little sister just operates like nuclear war. Like, she was just able to do whatever it was.
Wait, give us an example really quickly.
She had a car at, like, right when she turned 16, she got a car. I couldn't even look at the car when I turned 16. Like, she had these curfews. When I came home from college, my curfew was still 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock. I was like, I can't even get to where I'm supposed to go. My little sister once just showed up at my apartment. She was like 15 or 16 years old. She took a train from the suburbs to downtown Chicago to go to a Sox game. And I'm like, how did you get here? She's like, I took the train. I'm like, where do mom and dad think you are? She's like, I told them I was going out. I was like, you're in the city. Like, what is happening?
Oh, my goodness.
You're in the city.
It does lax. I'm a third child.
I'm a baby, too, and I get away with everything.
Yeah, but I mean, it makes sense though.
You said it like so, like you're twisting your mustache.
If you think about it though, you are kind of aging double time because you're getting older, but like the kid is almost getting younger. So like if you, you know, you have a kid at 40, and then you know 7 years later you're 47, but that kid is now just 0. So it's almost like it's going backwards. So that
is how math works. Yeah.
Wow, she got you out.
He burns me a lot.
Take my
Savor
point.
the flavor.
Take my point and put it in my pocket. I'm going away with it. You guys don't get my point now.
Right now, singer Pink is fighting off internet trolls over a photo she posted of her children. They're running at the Holocaust Memorial in Berlin, and the caption reads in part, "The very person who constructed this believed in children being children. And to me, this is a celebration of life after death." Even though she asked people to keep their judgment to themselves, some are critical of kids having fun in a place to memorialize a massacre. So, Tori, you explained this really brilliantly last hour. I thought
it really gave me a lot of perspective.
Yeah,
on
because
this.
I thought maybe this could go either way, but after your explanation, I'm like, this is not offensive at all.
Right. So, and as a Jew, you'd think, oh, maybe that is offensive. And I think it determines the space. Excuse me. So, at the United States Holocaust Museum in D.C., the windows are barred, literally barred. And when you go in, you're given a person that was in the Holocaust, and you follow them through each floor. And as you get in, the elevator shuts, and when it opens, there's burning bodies.
Oh my God.
So as you go through each phase, the walls get taller so the littlest kids can't see the teeth, the hair, the shoes. So that is not a place you run around. That is an interactive, very emotional, sacred spot. Now, when I look at this spot, which is not the Holocaust Memorial, it is a memorial to the murdered Jews of Europe. And if you look at the bottom, those are cobblestones, and they're meant to represent each person. And they go on forever. And those tall cement blocks are meant to represent sort of the discombobulation of not knowing for the Jews where I'm going. It's almost like the trains going to Auschwitz. You can't really figure out what's happening next. But the idea, the architect, Peter Eisenman, said, look, I wanted visitors to the memorial to behave freely, where children can play between the pillars or picnic on the fringes. So he wanted to not be so sacred and more of an interactive outdoor sculpture. And someone wrote in, I think this is amazing. It makes me cry. Please don't imagine for one second that the people who died in that massacre wouldn't want the sound of children's laughter to surround the space outside because it's so heavy inside. And I think Jewish children died, and I think it'd be lovely to hear that at this particular space.
I mean, that was beautifully said, and everyone, I mean, not to get too deep, but how do you feel when you write something negative towards Pink and you don't know any of the details behind, you're just spewing negativity? You're wrong.
You're wrong. She's also Jewish, as are her children. So these are Jewish children running freely through a memorial meant to mark about freedom and the difference and being enclosed and open. So at some point, this was exactly what he meant it to do.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you cleared that up, because whoever wrote in opposing that is wrong.
Yeah, parent police, they're tough.
Oh, man. Internet trolls. Moment of silence. All right, there's a new spy in town. Lashana Lynch will reportedly be the next 007 in the 25th film. That's according to the Daily Mail. They also report that one of the screenwriters intervened to pass the torch on to Lashana. The 31-year-old actress was most recently in Captain Marvel as the superhero's best friend and Air Force pilot. I like this. But my thing here, I'll kick it off. Why can't you be 008? Why can't we build a new franchise for like Idris Elba, be 006? Why do we have to stay with the 007 theme?
I think, and I'm not even a James Bond fan, but 007 seems very synonymous with James Bond.
It's not, though. 007 just means you have a license to kill from MI6, and it goes from 001 to 0012, and there's 12 of them. So 007, once James Bond dies, there'll be another 007.
Right, but why can't, like, there's a lot of controversy. Should they be black? Should they be a woman? Just give them their own franchise.
Yeah.
When someone says 006, you're not going to be like, what's that? Yeah. You're going to be associated with James Bond.
I mean,
right?
I think
the franchise.
Do you think it would just open up the whole, almost like Marvel did, where now we have a Captain Marvel spinoff, we have a Spider-Man spinoff, we have, and I think that like there could be a 004 where they're just a totally different person with a totally different landscape and storyline, and maybe sometimes they kind of.
Right.
Yeah. I would think that'd be cool, but maybe there's a reason that they're not doing that, because.
Yeah, I don't know. It just seems simple to me.
Yeah. Because 007 seems so, synonymous with Bond.
Right. I don't know. Everyone get what I'm saying?
Erica, you're just staring at us. Like we're like, Erica's just staring at us like we're just like furniture at Sears.
Around.
Okay.
I was like, well, this is how we started. I feel like 007 is synonymous with James Bond. It's not, though.
I know.
007 is synonymous with James Bond.
People think that, but in reality, it doesn't have to do with anything true, but people do associate 007. But it doesn't have anything to do with James Bond.
Now I'm lost.
All right.
I'm completely lost.
The future is here. Thousands of people in Sweden are getting microchips implanted that will replace credit cards. What if you want to switch companies? This can even act as key cards to enter office buildings. And 4,000 people have already gotten the right-sized chip in their hands. So DBL Nation, we want to hear from you. Would you ever get a chip implanted in your body? Head to dblvote.com. Let us know.
No, I am not getting a chip implanted into my body, because anytime you have a reoccurring charge and you decide to cancel and they keep charging you, now I have to go somewhere and have this stupid thing taken out of my hand because somebody won't stop charging me $35.99 a month.
Yeah, and seriously, that's a good one. What if you do want to switch?
Is that a good one, Jeff?
It is a good one.
Can you just go to your laptop and go to your account and stop it?
What she's saying, what if it malfunctions? The chip, you got to go in and get cut open again.
Have you ever tried to get a reoccurring charge stopped?
Yes. I have, and it's worked out. I got it done in about 4 seconds.
No.
Yeah, it's easy.
4 seconds.
The internet is
People
here.
take advantage of it all the time. I assure you have I assure you for sure have a reoccurring charge that shouldn't be reoccurring. You just haven't figured it out
Yes, it was
yet.
called Tinder Gold, and I got rid of it.
What comes with the gold pack?
You can put your location to the next city.
Oh.
Yeah, get a little, you know, a little preview out there. You know, before you get there. What? What's wrong with that?
And you got rid of that?
Yes, I'm seeing someone.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Al Jackson, is this official? Are you off the market?
I don't, yeah.
That didn't sound very good.
Yeah, I am.
Whoa.
Wow. Out there? All right, I don't want to.
I'm about to enter Schroeder land. Schroeder Cup. Schulman land.
My name is Tori.
This is Tori.
I know.
Gosh.
She's been with us for quite some time.
I try and tune her out.
All right, guys, let's get the voting here. Would you get a chip implanted in your skin? 82% say no. There you go.
You guys were all going to sound so old in 10 years, this conversation, because we'll all have chips.
Well, we're going to sound old anyway.
You're right, we are old.
Speak for yourself. I'm young. Got my Tinder Gold packet.
Coming up on DBL, a bride and groom get hitched at a MAGA-themed wedding. We'll ask her what inspired her bold decision. And Beyonce, Ed Sheeran, and Donald Glover are all under 40, but what would they look like as senior citizens? Find out when we run their faces through a popular app next.
Conviction coming from Al. Yeah, he couldn't even say it.
We couldn't even say the word clip.
Can we get that clip for the end of the show? No. Al, are you off the market? Hold on. Arash.
You asked him to say commit, he's like,
I was like, you know, I'm just processing like how much information. Could you get Arash?
yeah. True, I understand that.
Oh man.
We should definitely get that to play back.
Oh man, yeah.
So unfortunately, our internet is down here, and so we can't read
our
your
internet
comments.
isn't working anyway.
What's going on with
Hey, can we
None of
clip?
the iPads work.
Can we clip
Do you think
the
this
pic
is-
of
I wanna
Al when
know-
I say,
we
sorry,
gotta
Al
get
Jackson,
going.
you officially off the market? And then when he just goes, can we get that for the end of the show? Huh? All right, cool, thanks.
Because it sounded so strong, right?
You know, like, do you guys honestly, all jokes aside, like when you're talking about somebody else that's a real person on the show, like you kind of do that. You kind of give almost like the tape delay, like, should I say that? Should I say,
You want to be
like,
careful.
Oh,
Yeah.
you don't want to say anything. Dude, I have so many voices in my head, like when I'm talking.
So can I be honest? If Jeff's head is like a hamster wheel, sometimes one hamster will just jump in the middle and say something and run away.
Yeah, I mean, there's like so many things. Like while I'm talking, I'm like, should I say that? Should you be saying that? Yeah, probably
You
shouldn't
said
say
it.
that. And I'm still talking. I'm like, well, don't say it. And then I say it. And I'm like, well, now you gotta go. Like, go with it. So I was like, and I'm just talking the whole time while I'm
Coming
having
up
this
on DBL.
conversation.
That's just the nature of live.
I
mean,
know.
You're going to say, someone was like, I'm so disappointed in you. I'm like, it probably isn't the first time, not going to be the last time. I'm going to say some stuff you don't like. I guarantee that.
Yeah, and sometimes you're saying something you're like, this totally doesn't make sense. Welcome back to DBL. You may have seen some of your kids or grandkids looking a little older this weekend on social media, and that's because the app that ages users 60 years is going viral again. In 2017, we saw Face App everywhere, but this time it ages you with incredible accuracy. So let's see what some young celebrities would look like, shall we? Here's singer Ed Sheeran. He's 28 years old. Now let's see him as an old man. Wow, yeah. He looks like a character in The Hobbit.
Yeah.
He does, right? Like a wise character.
Yes. All right, here's Lion King star Donald Glover. Now let's see what he looks like as an old man. All right.
More beard.
I like it. I like it. And Queen Beyonce herself looking youthful. Let's see her old.
gosh.
Just like an older version of her mom.
Yeah, like.
That's a little weird. That looks good, though. That looks good.
Very accurate, it looks like.
Well, we'll see, because we're going to do it to each other. So we want to have a little fun and age ourselves here. So let's go. Al, I think you're going to go first.
All right, let's
Looking
do this.
great here, Al. Let's see you 60 years from now.
Oh!
Right.
Wow.
You look like red.
I do. I look like very Morgan Freeman-ish.
Yes.
That's a good look, though.
All right, Andy Dufresne.
Yeah.
My homie.
You look very distinguished.
That's my homie.
Yes. That's my homie.
All right, Tori, your turn. Let's see who
Where am I going to?
Let's see who your homie is. Wow.
It looks like Gina Rowlands.
That is very accurate.
Oh
It's
my
very
God,
accurate.
no, it's not.
You look like Candace Bergen.
I look like
Murphy
Murphy
Brown.
Yeah,
you're happy
Suddenly,
about it?
I'm okay with it.
Yes.
Okay now.
All right, my turn.
Oh boy.
Here I am. Let's see me old. Here I am now.
That's you old, right?
Looking
That's like,
It's like Bob Barker.
he does look like Bob Barker, doesn't he?
Oh, man.
You look like Keith Morrison a bit from Dateline.
All right, I'll take it. It's distinguished, and I still have my hair.
There we go. I like it. Keep that
Gotta
hair.
look at the
I want to see
positives.
Erica.
Cobb.
Erica's,
right.
What if she looked exactly the same?
She will.
Erica's not aging. Even this app will prove it. There we go.
Okay, that's weird.
It is kind of weird to see yourself.
That is weird. Huh.
Does that look
That's
like your mom?
interesting.
Does that look like your mom?
No, that doesn't look like anybody I've ever seen before.
Erica, I feel like you're not loving that. You don't
I
like
know, that's weird. That's interesting.
I feel like that
I know
Erica's going to look exactly the same.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, you know.
That was Al's answer.
Do you want to make commitment now?
Coming up on DBL, it's the MAGA-themed wedding that's going viral on social media. We'll chat with the happy bride right after this quick break. Did you?
I am Patty Donnelly, and I am the senior supervising producer at Daily Blast Live. I manage the show and the staff, and I oversee creative and help pick the stories. You know, and I also help by just using my past experience to better produce pieces and content on the show. A typical day at DBL for me starts at 6:30 in the morning, and that is super early. So it generally starts with me hitting snooze 4 times and then going to Starbucks and then rolling in at 6:30 on the dot. Whew, it's hard. And in the morning when we come in is my first meeting of the day. It's at 6:30 and it's the creative content meeting, and it's with just 4 other producers and then Chris Clark, the executive producer of the show, and myself. And basically we hear what stories are going on, what has been happening overnight, what the news is, and we start planning the show and what we're gonna put in it and what stories we care about. It's actually my favorite time of the day. It's really fun and it's my favorite thing ever, which kind of sucks that it's like in the morning, because after that then there's nothing to look forward to, but I love that meeting. Since it's such a small group, we laugh a lot and tell a lot of jokes and just come up with some really great ideas because of it, and it's really awesome. What I like best about working at DBL as opposed to other shows is that we have a really cool culture here, and it is a lot different from when I worked in LA, meaning we put the show above, you know, we care about the show, we want the show to do well, but we don't put it above ourselves. And that's something that a lot of times in LA, you sacrifice a lot to make sure the show is awesome. And here we, I think, almost have our priorities in balance a little more, and we laugh.
Welcome back to DBL. A Michigan couple is drawing a lot of attention for their MAGA-themed 4th of July wedding. After wearing a plain gown for the ceremony, the bride changed into another dress that said "Make America Great Again" on the front and "Trump" on the back. The gown was made by celebrity designer Andre Soriano, who is also behind the Joy Villa's famous MAGA dress that made waves at the 2017 Grammys. Earlier today, my co-host and I sat down with the bride, Audra Johnson. We asked her how she's handling the response and why she wanted to have this wedding in the first place.
Welcome, Audra Johnson, to DBL. Okay, so Audra, I thought weddings were like holidays, right? Where you avoid hot button issues. So I have to ask, why have a wedding all about President Trump when that day is supposed to be all about you, girl?
Actually, I feel like President Trump represents me in so many ways. We started off with a Patriot-themed wedding, and we decided once Andre Soriano offered to make the dress that we were going to go for it.
Audra, let me ask you a question. Would you go to a friend's wedding if it was a Barack Obama themed or Hillary Clinton themed? And was anyone at your wedding not a Trump supporter?
I absolutely would. Go to a Barack Obama themed wedding. I mean, it wouldn't be as cool as mine, in my opinion, but I would go. I actually had my maid of honor didn't want to wear the Keep America Great Again hat, and we made a compromise, and she wore a red hat. So we definitely were inclusive in our wedding.
That's cool. And clearly, when you wear a dress with bright red letters, you're trying to send a message. So is there any other message that you're hoping comes out of this, other than, of course, your support for President Trump?
I really wish people would actually read the article before they make comments about it. We are a mixed family. We have Democrats and liberals and Republicans, white, black, we're all really together in everything. We were able to compromise. We don't have to agree on everything to love each other.
I appreciate that. And yes, we always tout that on this show to make sure that when we share articles or talk about articles, that we actually talk about the context and not the sensational headlines.
I'm going to sneak in one more question here. Audra, I do want to ask you, have you heard from the president? Has he contacted you in any way?
No, I haven't heard from the president yet.
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 Congrats on your wedding. Thank you, Audra, for taking the time to talk to us here at DBL.
Thank you for having me on.
I don't like little food.
DBL Nation, you heard from the bride. Now we want your take. Is my mic on?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. Are politics at weddings okay? Go to the dblvote.com to weigh in. Apparently it's on. All right, so what'd you guys think about that?
Hey, to each their own, and I had a themed bat mitzvah, the Tory's winter evening. So if that's what you want, that's what you want.
I'm already bored.
Wow. I'd rather go than
I feel like I can't drive in a little while.
It was
The theme was you because it was your party.
I agree.
It just
that's a good
seems
point.
a little thirsty to make your wedding about somebody else.
The thing is, I think they met they did. They met at a Trump rally, so it's the thing that connects them.
Just like if they were Trekkies and they met at a convention.
Right, exactly. So to each their own. Mazel tov.
I did like that she said, listen, everyone was welcome. If you weren't a Trump supporter, you didn't have to wear that on your hat, and there was all sorts of race, religions.
The one thing I was uncomfortable with, there was a fetal heartbeat bill petition on each table, and that would have made me feel very uncomfortable. I have to be super honest.
No,
with you.
that's fair. You don't want to think about that during a celebration.
Yeah.
It's also, I mean, they made the decision to make it about Trump over having some of their parents there, so that was an interesting decision as well.
Yeah.
It's a good way to get people to sign a petition. Be like, I'm not bringing the food till you sign it.
Oh,
that's how these things get signed.
Yeah.
The petitions.
Yeah.
Definite petitions.
I hate them. All right.
Well, it was good that it was so diverse.
Should politics stay out of weddings? 57% say yes. Should be 100. All right. We'll be right back. That was a great segment.
Promotional.
About themed weddings.
Winter Eve.
Yeah, I do want to talk a little bit more about Tory's an evening
So
with
I
Tory.
have to be honest.
How old were you? Where was it?
So my bat mitzvah, you're 12 or 13.
Okay.
1995. No, I was 12. I
How
know,
can it be different?
crazy.
It's like, is it like school where your birthday falls? Isn't that a big deal?
No, Addis, the boys were 13. I was 12 because Addis Israel had too many bat mitzvahs, so they had to b'nai mitzvah with me and someone else.
You're supposed to be 13.
13 is the normal traditional one. Yeah, absolutely.
That's why you did 12.
Right. So the idea is you have a theme. Now, some people did movies or sports or baseball.
Give us a couple examples, because I don't know. Like funny ones that your friends did.
So now some people in DC went way over the top. So one person did Disney, I believe, and she flew in on a zip line like Peter Pan.
Oh.
Crazy. Then someone did a Gone with the Wind theme, and she couldn't get through the door because her skirt was too big. And someone had to help her go to the bath. I mean, these are ridiculous. Mine was very tasteful. It just had trees and fake snow fall from the ceiling and a few penguins.
How many people were there?
Real penguins?
We had stuffed fake penguins. We would never hurt that.
How many people?
There was about 180.
Oh, wow.
And we had a band. And
Yeah,
full
yeah.
band. And then we had ice cream with little penguins and then going down the slides and lights with twinkle lights and then candles.
Very modest.
Yeah, incredibly.
We did too. I had two.
Did
Oh,
you?
yeah.
Oh, yeah. What,
That-
what
like
were their
that?
themes? They're always like that.
No.
Oh.
I did not have 180 people, and there were no swans.
Were there any themes?
There were?
What were the
What?
themes?
I don't recall.
Really?
I really don't.
Really?
I really
So
don't.
is this like a big moment, like everyone knows
This
their...
is your coming of age.
Right, but does everyone have a themed party?
Erica, did you do cotillion? Everyone does.
I did not.
You didn't know.
It's a pretty trendy thing to do it. I don't think it's a normal traditional thing, but everyone I know is like Hollywood, sports. So you'd get to like your table and be like first base. You know what I mean?
Wow. So you get to first base at your bar mitzvah?
All right. But
Hey,
anyway,
she
so
brought it up.
some of these themes are so interesting, and so my sister did Mardi Gras.
Yeah.
Bat mitzvah mixed with Mardi Gras.
First base is a kiss. We're like, whoa. You can say kiss, right? We freaked out. It's a kiss. First base is a kiss. Why are we freaking out? The Wi-Fi doesn't work in here. We have a bigger problem.
No one can say anything because we don't have Wi-Fi.
You will not stop at first base.
He's going to round to second.
See, now you're going. See, you kicked it off.
Now it's Bert's fault. It's Bert's fault. I'm going to burn this jacket when I get home.
Welcome back to DBL. We were all astonished by the commitment that Al Jackson showed to his new girl.
Amazing.
I mean, for real, like the stone oak blood that runs
We
through your
all know
veins.
that, like, when you speak for family and friends and people associated with you on TV, you want to be careful about people's privacy.
All right, well, let's see that. Let's see that clip
in
again.
action.
The confidence.
Yes, I'm seeing someone.
Oh.
Yeah.
Al Jackson, is this official? Are you off the market?
I don't. Yeah.
That didn't sound very good.
Yeah, I am.
Whoa.
I'm out there.
All right, I'm not. I don't want.
But they're in the Furtherland.
That's commitment.
I cannot believe you caught that. Yeah. That
He's like, come in.
no, I'm making sure. I'm like, don't say, I don't know. All right.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Let's see you tomorrow. Same time, same place.
Yeah.